Welcome to the place where dreams come true, where everything you want can be yours, if and only if you're willing to work for them, you're willing to hurt for them, but most of all, you're willing to be first for them. Look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop, like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting, it's hot. Look what I got, whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success is insane. Stay out my lane, cause I'm on a mission. I'm getting what stands in my way. Yeah, I'm a beast, I wouldn't play with me, baby. The way that I'm training is crazy and I do it daily. You wanna talk about drive? I got more drive than Mercedes, I've never been lazy. I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete, well get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Yeah, I gotta be first. Look, I don't want anyone's sympathy. I understand what is meant for me. I give my focus and energy. If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But mentally, I'm undefeated. They hear that and say I'm conceited, like there's no reason. Like I don't beat them and come back again just to teach them that when you work under pressure, you reach higher measures. They'll try and bring you down, but you cannot let them, and only get better and focus on cheddar. Eye on the prize and you'll become a legend. Like, when I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete, well get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Yeah, I gotta be first. They don't know what's gotten into me, how'd I turn pain into energy. Through all the struggle and hurt, remember my worth, and that's why I gotta be first.
Yesterday, 4 of 8 tickets to the challenge were secured by our teams in the upper bracket. Today, those last 4 tickets will be claimed as the remaining squads battle it out one last time in the lower bracket. Which teams will continue on their path to the World Championship? It's time to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Snapdragon Pro Series.
Till a player on top, know it. Rooftop, penthouse suite. If you really want it, gotta own it. Fight through it, we was at the lowest. Blood, sweat, tears, the components. Riding all year, now's the moment. We are not friends, we are opponents. Yeah, I'm coming for mine. Yeah, I'm making a play, the game on the line. Yeah, I've been on the grind. Yeah, I jump in the spot, I made it my time. Yeah, look in the sky. Yeah, the stars align, no shade to shine. Can't stop it already. Emotional work and devotion, we put in this time. Look, you won't stop.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series Call of Duty Mobile Open Finals for EU. Now, today we will determine which of the remaining teams will be competing during our challenge season. And after what we saw yesterday, I am very excited to get into all of the action. Glitter Explosion, Bobby Plays, and Beef Mommy here yet again with you guys to get you through all of the action. Are you excited for the lower bracket today, Bobby?
Yeah, no question about it. Obviously, we have some teams advancing on early. Zidium lucking out on multiple occasions in the lower bracket, but whatever you got to do to make it to stage 4, you do it. So there's definitely some heavy hitters down here that didn't expect to be here. I think especially Animus has a lot to prove in the lower bracket, and I'm excited to see what they can do.
Mommy, what about you?
Oh, same sentiments. I was about to say that Zidium is the luckiest team right now, but I feel like it might not be too lucky going into the playoffs, going for those 8 teams, because a lot of teams that are sent down here in the lower bracket is because they had a really tough time. And in turn, honestly, it's experience for you to actually take into those few days that you're going to be going up against them in the playoffs. So I'm excited for today.
And we'll show you guys that bracket in just a moment here. But before we do that, we've got to remind you that today is just the beginning of all of our Call of Duty mobile action for the entire summer. So make sure you are following us on all of our social media platforms so you guys can keep yourselves up to date with every single bit of Snapdragon Pro Series action. Trust me, you do not want to miss it. And of course, we're going to keep reminding you, we have that brand spanking new Discord that you could come and hang out with us in. Okay, you can head on over to discord.gg/Snapdragon Pro Series to join the community, talk about any of the games you want to talk about, Call of Duty Mobile, you know? And it's just a cool place to be, all right? So just join us, hang out, come check it out. You don't want to miss it. Now, before we jump into all of our action today, we're going to do a little bit of a refresher on the format, just in case you missed the show yesterday, you don't know how the tournament works. So, Bobby, can you walk through the format a little bit for everybody?
Yep, those of you who watched NA or yesterday probably already know stage 1 is where everything starts, the solo qualifiers, as everybody battles things out in ranked by themselves to see if they can secure a spot in stage 2, which is where these teams have the opportunity to form and find those 4 other players that they would join up with, assuming that you can be in the top 128 teams in the region and make it into stage 3, which is the open bracket qualifiers you guys are watching right now. The 8 teams remaining have battled it out all the way through, some of them all the way through the lower bracket, to have a chance at making it into stage 4, which is that 8-team round robin, the really coveted spot that we will be broadcasting all throughout the summer, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a really exciting summer, so make sure you guys are checking it out and following along with everything, because I think there's going to be some pretty unexpected results by the end of it. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be a tough competition. Let's talk about the prize pool for the competition, Mommy, because it obviously exists now at like every stage of this competition.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see that you actually have something to play for nowadays, and that $500 really is a huge impact for a team, especially knowing with these EU teams, a lot of them are still looking for orgs to represent them into stage 5, and really excited to see how much a lot of the newer teams are actually being formed, and also old faces as well are returning here in Call of Duty Mobile. And as you can see, into the 13th and 16th spot, you're not going to be going home empty-handed.
You know, not too shabby. a little bit of cash to go along with a coveted spot if you make it into the challenge, because that's where everybody wants to be. Let's take a look at the bracket, see which teams we're going to be watching today, and you guys will see what both Bobby and Mommy were talking about when it comes to Zidium making their way through. So Bobby, tell us what happened.
Well, obviously, those top 3 teams still looking to secure a spot do make it on into stage 4. You can look down at the bottom, and Venturion, a team that people did not expect to make it this far, but they now have an opportunity to take down a Panic squad that I think also people didn't expect to be here, but for different reasons. I think they were definitely favored to win, going up against 31 or something to prove. Up on the flip side, you got Animus, who have not an easy opponent in Viva Gracia, and Mont, who we saw yesterday, at least coming close to taking the search and destroy off of a heavy hitting Kings roster, going up against formerly Team Enigma, Team Mobility. Definitely one of those top teams to look out for as well.
All right, so now we've got some exciting matches today. We'll take a look at the schedule as well, so you guys can know exactly what time everything's going to be happening. As you saw reflected on the bracket, Zidium's already made their way through, so that means we've got 3 matches for you today. And Mommy, we're going to be kicking things off with Animus versus Viva Gracia.
Oh, it might be a fast day because we were expecting 4 matches today, but EU just doing EU things. But what I'm hoping for is this to probably take it to the distance, like what Bobby and I mentioned. We were talking about it, is that last game that we're going to have, I think, is going to be really close. That's going to be Mont versus Team Mobility, where it's possible for them to actually be evenly matched and bring it to the distance. But I'm taking a look at Animus and Viva Gracia, where I'm not quite sure how Viva Gracia is going to be paired up against Animus, knowing very well that this is a strong team, but unfortunately for them, they did get taken down pretty early on. It was a pretty close game though, so I'm excited to see how Animus is gonna retaliate this time around.
I think it's going to be a really exciting way to kick off the entire day, of all of our games. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But now that we've got the lay of the land, we know the bracket, the prize pool, the format, we know the order for our schedule of these matches, it's time to start talking about these matches. Match number 1, you just saw it on the schedule, Animus versus Viva Gracia. Bobby, what can we expect out of this match?
Well, obviously, we already know what to expect out of Animus. This is an incredibly talented roster, and even though they did come up short yesterday, definitely no lack of experience for them. Obviously, Gathilia largely leading the way for them. He had a phenomenal performance in pretty much all the respawns that we saw, especially with his Stage 5 experience. I anticipate that he is one that is going to continue to lead the way. And over on Viva Gracia, not quite as well known, but definitely some experience there that should give them a chance up against a heavy-hitting Animus roster.
All right, well, speaking of rosters, we'll take a look at who we've got playing here today just to start things off. Obviously, some super recognizable names on Animus. Mommy, outside of what Bobby just said, anything else you want to add?
I want to just say that it's nice to see Narcs having the switchbait actually on hand, because we're usually used to him having that sniper, and so it's nice to see a change in pace, kind of playing a little bit more of an anchor and flex role going outside of the objective. So it's nice to see that. I just want to say Shark and Rasmo as well. They've been doing a tremendous job at trying to hold down the site, and I feel like for me, Rasmo is going to be an absolutely essential player going into those S&Ds, just trying to open up space for his team.
I love it. I love it. And then, of course, on the flip side of that, now that we know Animus's roster, we've got to take a look over at Viva Gracias as well. And Bobby, you said a little bit newer, less experienced here. So let's talk about the roster a bit.
Yeah, obviously there are some OG players. You have Sav, formerly of Cold Esports, but the majority of these players fairly new. I think I was actually playing with Candy in rank the other day, so I know that he's cracked out of his mind. But God, Spiky, Apollo, all 3 of those fairly newer to the competitive scene, at least whenever it comes to the majors. So those are 3 players that are going to be looking to prove themselves. Candy as well, realistically. But Sav definitely looking to be the leader for this squad. But it is going to be a very, very tough task given the amount of experience that you're going up against, the amount of talent. Narcs over on Animus, I believe one of the winningest, if not the winningest player in EU COD mobile history. So that's a lot of experience to go up against, and they're going to need to give it their all.
Yeah, that is definitely a tough stat to have to go up. And with the performance that we saw yesterday out of Animus as well, it's going to be a really fun match. to kick the day off, like I had said. So I'm excited to see how it plays out and what Viva Gracia can do to kind of stand up against Animus and see how they hold their own. But we'll get those picks and bans up here on the screen. And while we're waiting for those to pop up, we're going to try and start talking about predictions here too. There you go. Hard points popping up, mommy. Even just the score line, because you were on fire yesterday.
I don't know if my luck's going to be as good today, but right now looking at, this is probably one of the best maps that you could possibly put Animus, because this is where they were able to turn things around up against 117 Not Found. It was that summit that they were able to just pick up the pace. It was a 250 and 235, which is honestly, I was expecting 117 to have that in the bag, but it's really nice for me. I feel like that momentum, that would probably give them a little bit more of an advantage here in this game number 5.
All right, Bobby, anything else jumping out at you?
I will say the firing range search and destroy did not look great for Animus yesterday. We talked about kind of a lack of adaptations in a number of situations on both sides, but I think especially for Animus, got to find different ways to change the pace of the game, throw different looks toward both bomb sites, especially on the offensive side, and seeing if you can catch the opposition off guard, because for the most part, they were fairly predictable, and that allowed 117 to handle them relatively easily. They're going to need to step up on that one for sure.
Yeah, and that's kind of the mark of a really great competitive team, right? Is that ability to adapt, and the fact that they had struggled with that. Hopefully they were able to take that away from yesterday. And I know they only had a certain amount of time overnight, really. Maybe they could do something with it. Now, Mommy, we've got a little bit more time while we're waiting for our players to get themselves settled and loaded in. How do you think it's going to play out?
I love how Arsenal was just completely banned off of hardpoint because Animus didn't have the best of times there. And the scoreline was so far away, and it seemed very streaky. Like Animus yesterday could have won. I feel like they could have won that control, but obviously them starting off on the attack did not do them any favors. But the fact that they're either really, really close, kind of like in that S&D, it was a 7-5, but they lost that. I mean, they won that rather. And then that summit, it was really close. But if they lost, it was like a really huge lead coming in from the opponent that they had yesterday, which is a 1-7 in firing range, like what Bobby said. And in Arsenal, it was a 121 and 150. So they just don't want to do anything in that map, but I hope that they actually work on it, because I'm pretty sure you need to play that at a certain point.
I mean, even if they could at least just get through this portion, Bobby, then they give themselves a little bit of time to maybe nail that down for challenge if they're the team that ends up making it through. So is that enough time to really work on some of those small fixes?
Yeah, no question about it. And obviously, Viva Gracia and 117 are two completely different beasts. So it's not necessarily that I'm even expecting the same outcome. Even despite their struggles on firing range, I think with the amount of talent that you have across the board, hopefully they made some changes overnight. Hopefully they reviewed the VOD, looked at where things went wrong, and hopefully can implement those changes. But like Mommy said, you get a summit hard point to start things off, and that'll hopefully lend you a little bit more momentum than they had off the start of yesterday, as they obviously got pretty much wiped in the Arsenal hard point. Being able to bounce back and have a stronger start to the series will hopefully help with that as well.
Yeah, and momentum matters in these games too, whether it's for the mental side of things or just kind of having your team feel like they are having a good start to the day. So we'll have to see what they're able to do. Mommy, 3-1 or what are you thinking?
Here we go again. Well,
what are you
okay.
thinking?
Okay, so like I'm just looking at, we didn't see Viva Gracia at all yesterday. I mean, the only things that we can see is like the numbers that they have. So it's kind of hard to put like what kind of scoreline we're gonna have. But for me, I feel like Viva Gracia could probably take one map off of Animus, and I'm thinking that could be that S&D, that firing range, because it really seemed kind of difficult for Animus yesterday, but obviously they're up against a really strong team. But now looking at the roster, Sav and Apollo could be those people to lead their team in that S&D firing range. But we're starting things off with Summit, where Animus absolutely shredded. You got Bithila with 48 kills with a Holger. He was inside of the point, just spamming that thing, and I was like, wow, this guy is just so nuts when it comes to this LMG.
All right, I like it. Bobby, do you agree?
I think it's gonna be 3-0. I think even with the firing range struggles that we saw for Animus,
Sweeps.
I'm thinking 3-0s across the board today. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I think we may have a little bit more of the NA vibe going through today.
I'm locking that prediction in now then, before any of these games start. That's just where you're at for the, for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I'm locking it in.
You know, it might be the theme of the day. We've got Zidium already getting that 5th spot. 3 more spots to be determined for Challenge Chat. We're just waiting a moment while our players get loaded into this first match before we get things kicked off. And I think that they are about to be ready. So in chat, we want to hear from you as well. Let us know your thoughts. Who you think's going to be taking home match number 1 of the day? Bobby, Mommy, let's kick this thing off.
All right. Well, getting ready for the Summit Hardpoint, like you mentioned, not really a map that we tend to expect to see a whole lot of LMG gameplay, especially weapons like a Holger, but so many of the players in the European region have really mastered the art of the pre-fire with that thing, and Gathelia definitely going to be one of the players to watch heading into this one as he led his squad in a big way. I think a big thing that you mentioned about the Switchblade, would like to see more consistency out of him. I think especially when it comes to the respawns, has not been quite as consistent recently as in past years. So I'm hoping that he steps things up and we see big things out of him.
Definitely. I mean, you did mention it. Narcs with a 26, the lowest in his team. And honestly, it's not that bad of a number. So that was in Summit. And the fact that he also kind of struggled when it comes to that control as well, just having 17. And the highest in his team is going to be Erasmo with that 30. And obviously, he did have a Switchblade as well. So I feel like he's just in a sort of transition into using this SMG, which I'm pretty excited about. And again, it's really nice to see the type of gun mechanics that we have here and the gun composition rather, because so far when they brought up that Holger in Summit and placed that Holger inside, usually you'd expect that Holger to be holding those longer angles, but not for a guy like Gathelia where he can definitely just lay out. But again, another person that I'd like to commend as well is, for me, Erasmo has been so good when it comes to Summit because he's been anchoring down those spots. He's usually that lurker that cuts that rotation off between the opposing team.
Yeah, and I think he's going to have to step up in a big way in the search and destroy as well. Obviously, we talked about his importance with the sniper in hand, and he can be a little bit of a streaky player, but once he starts hitting, there's not much that is going to be able to slow him down. So heading into that map 2, the firing range, search and destroy, he is going to absolutely be crucial, and especially when it comes to slowing down the pace of the game, trying to find those first bloods, he is going to be a key factor for them. But it looks like we are good to go for map number 1. Viva Gracia trying to take down one of the giants in the European competitive scene in Animus. I got a tall task ahead, and obviously lots of eyes on Sav heading into this one.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you just expect this guy to just bring all guns out. And now as we see a fast push coming from Viva Gracia, I mean, yes, they do a fast push, but they don't really have any kind of power possession whatsoever, which Gathelia has. So that's going to be huge kills for him, but not enough for him to actually take out everyone else coming in from Viva Gracia, as we see Animus still trying to get those power positions down. They do try to go in for the contest as well, but they are losing a lot of the gunfights going into the hill.
Yeah, hot start here for Viva Gracia's boot, yet to pick up that first kill, and they have got this hard point locked down right now. Pretty solid chunk off of P1 as Animus finally breaks on through, and you get some blue in the feed. Still holding down the top side is going to be Gathelia with that Holger in hand. Narcs is not going down easy, and he's sitting on a 3 spree, needed to step up for his squad, and that is a huge feed to lock in a big chunk of this scrap time here on P1, and already looking to get pushed out toward P2 as well. Spiky peaks around the corner, not going to be enough to convert the kill, but Narcs able to get away with his life. Gathelia doesn't have the comms on Sav, hitting the hop-up wall right there, and it looks like an opening where we might see Viva Gracia pick up another big chunk.
And so far, I think none of them really have a solid anchor spot quite yet. Animus, though, in the more favorable side. Everyone else from Viva Gracia are going to be spawning off a cable car. They're going to have a pretty difficult time when it comes to funneling through here in Catwalk, as Shark applies that enormous pressure here in that area. But you get to see they do have high ground, as Viva Gracia does occupy that. But Shark coming off hot with those 2 kills, and able for him to actually get that hunter-killer drone invested really, really well. And he's just solo holding this, man.
He's on 9 in a row right now and continuing to build. Already got his Sparrow called in. Spawns have not flipped out quite yet, and I don't know how that Sparrow shot did not land onto Spiky, but he turns and gets the kill anyway. Should be able to lock in the rest of the scrap time, and right around the corner tries to take down Apollo, but the spree is going to end. The scrap time goes through for Viva Gracia, but the Spawns in control of Animus in a dominant way. They are spread all the way across the back of the map, and they are not giving up map control anytime soon. Big gunfight win for Spiky, but he's got to push through to that spawn building. And if I had to guess, Animus going to abuse those head glitches to the best of their ability. They do get broken on the hard point, but the Spawns remain in their control.
I mean, you get to see Shark and his brilliance there in P2, and everyone else, that just allowed them to go in there for that early rotation here in P3. And we did get to see Sav just lose an essential gunfight because he was the only one there. But Viva Gracia is actually doing a good job at trying to go and control those spawns. And Godzilla goes in there for a 3K, a spree for him right now, especially with the Annihilator in hand. He does get taken out, though, really quickly as Candy, a 3-piece of his own, and that just allows his teammates to go and funnel through, creating so much space already, where Rasmo is in a really great spot as he almost finishes the job and gets that 3rd kill. He is going to be taken out, and the spawn's going to be into the favor of Animus right now, in position for P4.
And honestly, if you're Animus, not the worst thing in the world to give up those last 20 seconds. Perfect trigger discipline out of Shark. He's going to find the easiest 2-piece of his life, trying to make it a 3-piece, but a beauty of a spray by Candy right around the corner to at least keep his life, and he's gonna actually hop down. I don't know how Shark didn't get the audio cube, but turns and absolutely obliterates him. Right back to the spawns we go, and Animus back in the driver's seat right here. Shark sees that trophy system pop around the corner, and they're being as careful as can be, but it is all Animus in the feed regardless. It's going to be 4 in a row, 1 interrupted by Spiky, but he's going to get immediately traded back out. And Animus got this hard point on lock. This was 100% the case against 117 yesterday as well. Almost 0 time given up to the opposition, and they're still going to end up coming out on top in those gunfights.
Oh, I like the play of God and Apollo there, because the God was actually trying to position himself to try and go in for the break, but he waited instead. But fortunately for them, they only were able to touch that hard point for just a second, and Animus looking super strong, especially with Godzilla and Shark. That duo right now is just absolutely insane. Godzilla obviously just trying to shred with the Holger, and you'd expect him to be far away, but no, he's actually up close and personal right into your face. Shark, on the other hand, his movement is just absolutely prime. And hello there, chat. Nice to see you. And I wish I could give you what's happening there, but you know, let's talk about what actually happened there so far. When it comes to the rotation,
wait, what happened?
I'm not quite sure what happened, but I mean, we're back here. So when it comes to the rotation, it was Animus all the way through.
I was like,
yeah, I know.
I missed something.
I know, right? I was just like, wait, what? I mean, that's how Bobby looks when he casts. By the way, he likes to stroke his beard.
I did. That's one of my tics. I can't not touch my beard. All right, Animus back on top. They're locking in some more time here on P1. Rasmo's got full streaks to work with, and as expected, Godzilla leading the way on 29 already. This has been a dominant performance out of him once again. On the flip side, it's been the Spiky and Candy show, but no real help from the rest of the squad. Sav is yet to get going. He and God just now making their way into double digits. And right now, they're in desperate need of a full 60. Have got to go big here on P2, but mainly they need those spawns controlled heading into P3.
And this is where we saw Viva Gracia kind of have signs of life. They were able to pull back that spawn yet again, but that's for P3. They are in a pretty good spot, but they have to worry about player number 4. That's going to be Rasmo firing those shots down. He does get majority of those shots as well. Those are really high and essential kills for the side of Animus, and they only have like a few seconds left here. 186 and 74. That's a scoreline that you don't really want to have. And for Animus, they're doing a tremendous job. History is slowly starting to repeat itself, as looks like Summit Hardpoint is definitely a game mode that they absolutely love and very comfortable in this map. Shark gets a beautiful 3K. That's going to be huge again. His 3rd 3K of the day, and my goodness, this guy is on a spree. 32 already to his name, and there's still that 3rd set of rotations right here in P3. Animus on a significant lead, and it just looks like it's Godzilla and Shark just getting a lot of these plays outside of the hardpoint, and especially Shark being that OBJ is definitely so hard for Viva Gracia to break.
Oh, and he's just been untouchable in these gunfights. You got Rasmo in the back locking down spawns once again. And if I had to guess, this may be the end of the line for map number 1. Viva Gracia trying to find a player to sneak through, but God, not going to be able to find the shots onto Rasmo right there. And that was their best chance at trying to break through. Sparrow in the hands of Shark, going to be able to pick up a couple more. Narc's pushing through the front side, and he said, you know what, I got a purifier, see how many players I can cook. Spawns flip out, or at least it looked like they were about to, but unfortunately for Viva Gracia, they will be spawning all the way on the opposite side of the map. And Shark continues to be pesky, pushing out those spawns, locking in the kills. He's sitting on 37 right now with 2 minutes inside the hard point. He and Gathilia doing it all right now for Animus.
Man, I saw how much Viva Gracia just tried to fight it, but they just lose it every single time when it comes to the gun skill. It's just so hard to go up against a team like Animus that's just been on the top of the leaderboards for such a long time, and they just show how comfortable they are here in Summit Hardpoint. Wow, what a show. What a dominant display. And so far, they're perfect here in Hardpoint, man.
Yeah, that has been their go-to, and they absolutely showed up in that one. So that was what we expected to see out of Gathilia. Shark stepping up in a big way. We know he's an incredibly talented player, and he definitely showed out there as well. Once again, would like to see a little bit more out of Boot. He was lagging behind pretty heavily, and that's kind of been a theme for the Animus squad, that at least one player has not quite been pulling their weight. And I think especially against some of the tougher teams that they'll face in stage 4, that's going to be more of a factor. But as you see, Shark just so pesky playing that roaming Slayer role. He gets so many of those out of position kills and just constantly leaving Viva Gracia second guessing their moves, second guessing whether or not they're going to be caught from behind. And he was definitely one of the highest impact players on that map.
And the really huge thing with Gothilla right now is he always just slays out. Like what we mentioned already, he had 48 in that game up against a really strong team, by the way, which is 117. And now he just goes to show that he's very consistent when it comes to this. And honestly, I feel like he's probably one of the most improved players that we've seen in the competition so far. Obviously, he was a key player last year when it comes to that stage 5 performance, but it seems like now he's even better. And it looks like it's the Holger he's really, really comfortable with when it comes to those respawns, and he's going to be switching that to the CBR, and obviously he's not going to be the star of the show in those S&Ds, but someone else will step up, and that's going to be Shark.
Yep, Shark definitely a key factor for them. Like we said, Rasmo has got to go big in the firing range search and destroy if they want to be able to make light work of it. Obviously, like you can see here, it's two different beasts, Viva Gracia versus 117, and I anticipate it will likely be the same case in the search and destroy, that they have a slightly easier time, but there was a lot of room for improvement from what we saw yesterday, and hopefully we see them taking some steps toward that. Once again, getting all players on board, firing on all cylinders, rather than having those two really heavy hitters carrying the bulk of the load. That's going to go a long way as you get further and further into the competition.
And now it just goes to show, like, how is Viva Gracia going to just step on the gas when it comes to this S&D? By stepping on the gas, just forget about what happened there in Hardpoint, because you have the opportunity, like what you mentioned yesterday, actually, is this is where more of the newer teams, is where they kind of take a lot of that lead down, just to cut it off just a tiny bit. We kind of saw it yesterday with Mont versus Kings, where it went down to the wire. It was very interesting to see. It was a 6 and 7, actually, 6 and 8 rather, here in Express. So I'm really interested to see how this team will adjust. Obviously, we didn't really get to see the performance yesterday of Viva Gracia, so we don't really have any information how their S&D gameplay is in complete detail, but I'm excited to see it. I feel like in the first few rounds, whoever is going to be on that defense will definitely try to maintain and possibly try to see if this is the kryptonite of Animus.
All right. Well, it looks like it is going to be Viva Gracia on the offensive side to start here. It was more on the defense that Animus struggled. Or rather on the offense that Animus struggled, at least as far as the more dominant rounds that we saw. But that is a full send on over to the B site. And my gosh, one stray nade could spell disaster for Viva Gracia, but it looks like they're able to float all the way through. Smokes go down, trying to find a shot through, but not able to connect. Gathilia able to lurk on below. Shark finds 2 as well, and this is backfiring quickly as that's now a 3-piece for him. Candy left all alone, 1 HP, and right around the corner is Shark to find 4 kills in round number 1.
What a way to start it for Animus, and Shark is pretty much on fire today. He was steamrolling in hardpoint. His movement was absolutely prime, and now it seems like he's bringing it over here in that search and destroy. And now for Animus leaving that Bravo site, I feel like it was okay because I feel like it's a little bit easier for them knowing that they have that sniper to try and open things up. And obviously for the side of Viva Gracia, you have Apollo having still 0 in his hand. Shark over pushing just a tiny bit, gets that information down, but he's going to be in a little bit of a pickle, but the rest of his team's going to be right there for the backup, as slowly but surely Viva Gracia is going to be pulling down just a tiny bit.
Viva Gracia in a nasty pinch right now. You got Rasmo in top wood just patrolling, getting all the information that he can. One player gonna lurk over toward B, but it looks like God making a lot of noise right now. He's gonna get spotted around the corner, and that's as easy a kill as you're gonna find if you're Gothillia. He turns to find Spiky and turns onto Candy as well. What are you looking at? Absolutely demolished. Oh,
the fact that he did that with an LMG with, I mean, it's not the fastest ADS, but he's still able to do that. I mean, obviously you have the bullets for it to just try to just spray those bullets down, but oh my goodness, that is just a really fast round coming in from Animus again. And now we're slowing things down, and they're going to be applying so much pressure here in Woodhouse. Tries to get the timing on, and Gothilla, unfortunately for him, doesn't get it right. Gets punished to try and get those kills early on. And a lot of noise actually be coming off here in jungle, and so far it's going to be even for both of these teams.
Well, the first man advantage Viva Gracia has seen. Whether or not they can capitalize, a different question, and Sam's going to get spotted out right there. Boot hops on out, playing his life as well, and now we're into the 3v3. Rasmo seems like he's got information on somebody and sees one. The flick through the wall connects onto Spiky, and just like that, Animus find themselves up a man, and it is Viva Gracia scrambling, trying to find something right here, but whew, when Rasmo's connected on the wall banks, he is tough to spot. He is going to go down to Apollo right there, and into the 2v2 we go.
Rasmo. And I'm glad to see Narcs actually just picking up that sniper again, and it just seems like Animus is actually really well-rounded when it comes to the snipe. Someone can easily just pick it up and know very well how to use it. And now we get to see Viva Gracia kind of being stuck right now. They're just trying to gather that information before they try to commit. Obviously, it is a 2-and-2 and Boot. I'm not quite sure if he was able to spot that one person. Oh, gets the flick off of Candy, gets that kill. And that's going to be essential for him, but Apollo does get the trade. And Narcs not able to connect that shot, spots him down, but Apollo with a really good 2K, just giving him a chance to get a 1.1 round here for Viva Gracia. That is just really good and pretty disciplined for Apollo not to try and push too aggressively.
That first round going through has got to be a weight off your shoulders. You know, you can avoid the 7-0, and now you can really focus up and start to make some of those adjustments. With the way that Candy got turned on in round 2, I was a little bit worried that it was going to get out of hand quickly, but Spike's going to find the opener, trying to make his way on through over behind Tires. The movement's looking a little bit shaky right now. I can't lie, but he gets through. Shark going to spot out one as God drops right there, making a 2-piece. He's now sitting on 7 through these first 4 rounds, and Spiky gets the better of him, but instant trades come through for Rasmo. Gothillia going to find one, and right around the corner, that's an easy target, standing still. Gothillia with the juicy 2-piece to clean it up.
Oh, it looks like Viva Gracia is just having a really hard time with such an aggressive Animus in that defense. And the only reason why they won that round number 3 is the fact that Gothilla actually went down early and was over pushing just a tiny bit. And now let's see where they're going to be taking things. And it's a full send from the defense in Alpha and a full send from the attack into that Bravo side. And they just love that Bravo flag. Rasmo smells it though, throws in that nade. Doesn't really quite cook it, but the information goes down. Spiky almost goes down. He is going to be 1 HP left and not able to get that, but the information already given to his team.
Pre-fire out of Shark, trying to get out of that tunnel is not where you want to be. Looks like the bomb should be able to make its way up to the site. Candy getting the plant down right now, but the top of his head's going to be spotted by Gothillia. Beautiful hop up right there to get the bomb on the ground, and now the 2 remaining players in a terrible spot. Rasmo popping out. the crossbow, and he takes down Apollo with it. Shark round the corner, takes down Spiky as well, and once again, Animus trend upward. Sitting up 4-1 right now. Still looking to get Boot and Narcs more involved. They both players looking a little bit sluggish on the first map. The same here in map number 2. We'll see if they can maybe get them some confidence and some momentum heading into these later rounds.
What a good read coming in from Animus. They knew that B wasn't working out for Viva Gracia, so we're going to be taking B as well. Gothilla gets 1. Gothilla gets 2. He's really deep into the spot right now, is positioned really well, and that was very quick. Oh my goodness. I was just looking at the kill feed, and it was just all blue. 5-1 already on the scoreboard, and Animus is playing this very, very fast and basically on the driver's seat. But yeah, I mean, I feel like for Viva Gracia, it was very just readable. That play of theirs is just knowing very well that, okay, Alpha is not going to be working out. They need to slow it down just a tiny bit, and I feel like they weren't really playing their utilities to their advantage when they did try to go in for the attack in Alpha.
Well, the offense was what looked shaky for Animus yesterday, and it is looking shaky once again as they lose 2 players off the start and have yet to trade out Sav. Razmo going to be able to spot him out. Still got that crossbow he's running around with and trying to see if he can find a second pick onto that trailer area. Nobody really peeking out for Viva Gracia right now, forcing some sort of commitment out of Animus. With the bomb still in the hands of Gothilla, they've got a big decision to make. They don't really seem to want to lean one direction or the other. The sniper's not peeking a large enough angle to be able to catch anybody for Viva Gracia off guard. And it looks like they're going to start to commit over toward that B side as they get a little bit of information. Nobody peeking around the corners. And the pressure going to be on for Candy as it looks like they're going to start to move toward this side.
This is the best play that you could do if you're Viva Gracia. Obviously, you want to spread out just a tiny bit. Razmo spots God, and God does not know at all what happened to him. And, well, good thing for Razmo, he's still right there, but Candy gets a 2-piece of his own. It's still going to be body count advantage coming in from Viva Gracia. They have the numbers to their side, and Bomb's going to be down. It's all up to Razmo to try and retrieve it. That's going to be a difficult spot because there is just only 2 ways, or 3 ways rather, to get into it. But obviously with 2 members from Viva Gracia, you just got to hold in your position. Just keep it close.
Yep. Razmo, crossbow in hand, trying to make a 1v2 happen. Candy in a pretty predictable corner right now, but he's not going to read it properly, giving away a lot of information, running around with only 11 seconds to work with. Viva Gracia will find a way to lock in another round right here. They got to make that happen 5 more times to have a chance. Shark sitting on 10 right now. God sitting on a goose egg, still trying to get going. And he has not had a fun time here in firing range, but they take the first defensive round regardless, and Shark gets caught off guard again. Once again, sending your SMGs to try to clear off that barrel heady. Just such a risky play. They go 1 for 1, but players dropping left and right at the hands of Candy. Another one gets taken down right there as it's now all down to Boot. The 1v4 right here as Animus struggles on the offensive side continue.
Ready up.
Candy is just so good at creating that pressure into the side of Viva Gracia because he's been having multi-kills in the past 2 rounds and looks like defense is definitely going to be better for them. And Animus built a huge lead, but again, just kind of like what happened yesterday, they're just struggling when it comes to that attack. Only 1 player, though, coming in from Viva Gracia is going to be there for the defense, and he's going to be waiting on his team to go in there for that retake.
Well, Sav's going to peek out, doesn't quite have the angle on the bomb heady, and Gothilla able to get the plant down. Teammates there to defend him as it looks like the retake is on right now for Viva Gracia. They find the opener out of Apollo. Sam finds another onto Gothilla. Razmo finally there to trade. The snipers playing a big role right here as Animus still looking to find an offensive round, but Candy takes down Narcs. Shark's gonna drop as well, and now all down to Razmo, who drops to God. And that is 3 offensive rounds in a row, slipping out of the hands of Animus, and this is just looking like the disastrous side of the bomb for them.
Man, Animus did not have any kind of flank watch whatsoever, and for Viva Gracia, it was so good that they placed Candy on that flank because he was able to get that essential information, get that one, and just created so much space coming in from Viva Gracia. And now, different kind of situation for Animus, though, as they're going to be slowing things down. And for Viva Gracia, they're not going to be over-pushing whatsoever. But speaking of over-push, we get to see one player, Sav, pays for it, and that's going to be an opener for Animus to possibly go in for that alpha push.
And that is a wide open A site. It seems like the thing is right now, Viva Gracia have been so unhindered on those A retakes that they are perfectly content to give up the plant and play for it right here. It looks like the majority of that utility has been saved. Now down a man, they look to execute, but Rasmo has got to connect on that shot, does find a way to hit the follow-up, and now up 2 players. Animus has got to convert on this round and find a way to take it right here. You get information out of those players, but Candy has been so lethal with the DLQ in hand. That opens things up, and right now the Animus players got to be questioning a little bit where these players are going to be coming from, but Rasmo goes big, Boot finds another, and finally Animus finds a way to take an offensive round and only 1 away from closing out map 2.
Match point right now, and Animus is in a pretty good spot. I mean, I feel like for them, Viva Gracia is struggling because I feel like God just having that 1 kill is definitely going to be very hard on them, and especially knowing that he's kind of like going out there like a sitting duck in mid, kind of similar to Sav actually. I don't know why they were just so wide open. Narcs creates that space, God goes down, speaking of, and now they're trying to make that noise into alpha, but it's going to be a B execute here, as you do get to see Shark just getting a lot of these kills, and there you go. It's going to be an easy way going into that Bravo site, but it is still going to be doable for Viva Gracia as they have 3 players. They just need to slow things down, and Candy in a really good spot to take out Shark.
It's all up to you now.
Ooh, Candy! Only pixels to work with, but Rasmo gets the 2-piece to clean it up, and just like that, Animus has taken map number 2. Wow, I didn't even see the kills that led up to that, but they clean things up quickly, take back-to-back offensive rounds, and find a way to end that one. But once again, things looking very, very shaky on the offensive side of things, and you got to think heading into stage 4, teams going up against Animus are going to feel somewhat comfortable picking firing range for the S&D, given their struggles on the offensive side.
I feel like it was just those key players from Viva Gracia is the reason why they were getting a lot of those offensive side, the defensive side rather, and we needed to see a little bit more from Sav and God, and obviously God just having that 1 kill definitely was really hard on Viva Gracia. And we also kind of saw Sav struggle a little bit, obviously into I think the second to the last round, where he was just going in there very aggressively without any cover whatsoever into Wooden House. And we see God as well doing the same thing, and I feel like it's that presence of mind that we kind of need to see some of the Viva Gracia members actually have, because you have so much talented players over there, especially with Candy creating so much space. They're not able to utilize it super well.
Yeah, he definitely had a phenomenal game, but he was the one bright spot for this squad who through and through struggled. Like we mentioned, God was sitting on breadstick, I think, all the way through. I think that's what he ended up finishing with. And in a 4v5 against a team of the caliber of Animus, it's not something you can really afford to try to attempt. So they've got to get everybody going heading here into the map number 3, Control. Typically, the swing mode, that's assuming that you're split 50-50 on respawns and S&Ds. It hasn't really looked that way, and if I had to guess, Animus should find a way to clean things up here in the Control and lock in a spot in stage 4. Definitely, desperately looking for that, and I think a lot of fans hoping that they can come through. We'll see if they can do that in 3-0 fashion.
Definitely, and that S&D was supposed to be the map that was leaning more towards the favor of Viva Gracia, but now we're going into Control, where we did see Animus lose it 2 and 3 and standoff up against 117 Not Found, but it was a very close game, and the only reason why they lost that was the fact that obviously defensive heavy when it comes to that map. But we do get to see signs of life coming in from Rasmo, and obviously he has been one of the more consistent players from Animus, having that 30 kills, the most out of his team here. And it looks like for Rasmo in that S&D round in firing range right now, he seems like he's on a roll as well. I mean, everyone else in Animus is actually doing a really good job, and probably Boot needs to warm up just a tiny bit. I'm excited for him to bring out that LK24 again here.
Yeah, once again, Boot and Narcs are the players that Animus are really looking toward to start stepping things up. Both of them lagging behind in the hard point, and that was the case in the Search and Destroy as well. So very uncharacteristic for Narcs, especially for a player with as much experience as he has, as many wins as he has. Obviously, I don't know you can necessarily call Stage 3 a major, but especially with this being an official broadcast and that being something that the European players have been asking for a long time, this is where you really got to show out and show that you deserve to be in this spot. He's one player that I'll be looking toward to step up here in the control, but across the board, outside of the two, Animus have looked fairly untouchable.
I mean, they're just doing a phenomenal job, and you have the likes of Narcs, and even though he kind of had a difficult time in that control round yesterday, he had 17 kills. It's still a lot of kills, and you're up against a really good team. But now, as we're starting things off here in Raid Control, as we do get to see Animus starting on that defense, it's looking like the cards are just being on their favor right now.
Yeah, that's not a good sign for Viva Gracia. I want to be completely honest. Boot peeks out initially, and that's a strong start for him. Sees one Viva Gracia player around the corner, catches Apollo out there as well. And the LK absolutely beaming for him. Boxing gloves out, maybe not the best option right there. It is going to be a couple crucial kills coming through for Viva Gracia to keep things even, but it is going to be an A hit right here. And if they can get a couple ticks of progression, could be big, but Gathelia hops on through, able to take down one. We do see the trades come through once again, but the life lead still in the hands of Animus.
Still very doable for Viva Gracia to try and slow things down, get those picks, and they are getting some sort of progress here in Alpha. But Boot's going to be right there with the LK, just shredding. He's been on a rampage here on this side, and that's going to be difficult to go up against. The LK being one of the best guns that you can actually have, one of the best ARs, and it's going to be blue all across the board. Gathilla's going to be right there as well with the Hulker. And these two, Boot and Gathilla, has been such a nuisance for Viva Gracia here on poolside.
Yep. Apollo's got 3 on the board, but once again, the struggles continue for Viva Gracia. Is just too much consistency for Animus. Looked like an easy shot for Rasmo to line up. Can't quite convert right there, but once again, the life lead grows. Now up 9 as Gathelia just bobbing and weaving through the mid-map right now, making that LMG look like an SMG. Absolutely obliterated a Shark by Candy, but they still got a lot of Animus players to deal with over on this B side, and they are forced to rush it. Only 6 seconds to capture one of these objectives, and Shark is ripping them apart. 3 straight right there as they continue to march up the driveway, and there's no time to work with. Viva Gracia gonna drop that round 1, and Animus looking strong on the defense once again.
My goodness, the amount of firepower that Animus is actually bringing to the table on that defensive side. But let's see how Viva Gracia is going to be doing on the defense. And looks like Animus will be on the attacking round, and they will try to go in for more of a B split. Only one player will be there in mid. That's going to be player number 4, Rasmo. And we already know him going to be the flank player for Animus, trying to go in for that roaming. But he does get that vital kill, tries to get that spawn trap as well. So that's going to be huge for them if they're able to sustain that.
Well, God pulling out the UL and finally stepping up for his squad, sitting on 6 kills, keeping the lives even right here, but Rasmo fires back doing the same. Trying to hold down top laundry. It's going to be Shark hopping the objective right there. Just going to pre-fire that window until the cows come home. Unfortunate timing as Candy's able to slip on through to get to the head glitch to find the kill. But Narc still locking down top laundry right here and definitely finding some crucial kills to make life easy for those players on the inside of the objective.
Here we go. It's going to be the fight for that spawn, and Apollo unfortunately goes down. That opens up a lot of space coming in from Animus to try and do that spawn trap. Narcs gets that essential kill off of Kitchen. God goes down. There's going to be 2 players left in Kitchen as well, as they're trying to stop that spawn trap to happen here. But it's going to be difficult, as we do get to see the long-range engagements just being won by Animus right now.
Yep, bunch of kills coming through for Viva Gracia. Not too far down on the lives, but they do give up B. Typically the easier objective to capture, and that's going to force some of the operators to come out for Animus. Shark uses a lot of those Sparrow shots, but it looks like they might forget about the objective and just look to set up the spawn trap right here. Shark gets those last couple. Nice little flank for Gathelia right here. Got to be careful with those newer spawns here on Raid. But right now the lives dwindle quickly. Raz Rasmo pushing through, Fennec in hand. Shark does get shut down off the head glitch, but you've got to get things cleared. Rasmo does not get timing to go his way, and those lives starting to even out right now as we see Viva Gracia get pushed up. If you're Animus, you've got to find a way to close this one out without giving up too many.
There you go. I mean, it's that mid pressure that we get to see Viva Gracia actually go, but unfortunately they do lose that. And now for Animus, they're going to be wide open here into going to kitchen. Rasmo turns things around with Fennec in hand. A 6 and 4, still very doable for Viva Gracia to try and go. They just need to stay put. And right now, unfortunately, Gothilla's going to be right there with a Holger. God spots him, though. That's going to be huge for him with the UL. That's definitely going to be a really good spot for them to try and defend this kitchen. A 5 versus 2, still into the favor of Animus, and they're going to be going in for that spot trap. That's play number 5 and 2. That's Shark and Boot. A phenomenal play from both of these teams right now.
No respawns remaining. Candy does get shut down on the inside of the objective, and Viva Gracia drop another round as we now move to match point. Animus have looked dominant through and through. Narcs and Boot starting to get with the program a little bit more, and that's the beauty of a team this talented. Even when 1 or 2 players are having their struggles, the rest of the team stepping up in a big way, and Shark has definitely had himself a day, sitting on 19-11 here in the control as well. Rasmo gonna swing wide on that ring side, and he's gonna be able to clear out too. I believe that is 5 in the feed off the start, and Narc's gonna pop the Purifier. They're trying to set up this spawn trap early and end this one as quickly as possible.
27 and 23 is going to be the scoreline as the Hunter Killer Drone gives them a little bit more of an advantage here, and they are pushed down really deep into gallery, trying to get that spawn trap on, but Viva Gracia actually knows this. They send 1 player down to defend, but Candy does go down really early on, and it's a good thing that the spawns are going to be in a little bit more favor coming in for Viva Gracia as they're spawning off into the bottom side instead of the outside, but you do get to have just 2 players coming in from Animus as well, getting those kills, and they are locked down. They are ready to get those kills here, and just like that, 13 and 21, they're going to be finishing this very, very early on, but Spiky goes in there as well for that War Machine, and that's going to be signs of life for them just a tiny bit, as it's actually possible for them to try and even down the lives.
You see the operators popping for Viva Gracia. War Machine, Claw, both come out, both drop, and now down to 10 lives. It's going to be Boot taking himself down as Godfire's back to be able to clear off 1, still 7 lives separating the 2, and once again it's Animus getting the trades every single time. It looks like Viva Gracia might be able to even things out. The wallbang out of Gothilla. That is the beauty of the LMG. Nobody is safe in any position. Now all down to Candy, Spiky, and Apollo. Candy with the Sparrow gonna drop, and Spiky, the 1v12 to keep their hopes of making it to stage 4 alive. He's going to give away his position, and that should be the end of the road as the players leave the lobby for Viva Gracia. Animus is heading to stage 4.
Oh, man, what a scoreline, and you were correct now this time. Signs of life, though, for Viva Gracia in that round number 2, but unfortunately not able to sustain it here, especially ending things on the attack. And honestly, I just want to give my hats off to Rasmo. Him being on the lurk is just so good, and probably one of the best lurks I've seen in the team so far in this competition, Glitter.
I mean, it was what you called it, Bobby. Mommy said it. You called it. You knew how it was going to play out. Really, really strong performance from Animus. But after what we saw yesterday when they went up against 117, are we surprised at how well they did? No, not really. And obviously a team that absolutely deserved a spot in the next stage. So let's walk through some of these highlights from the first match of the day, Bobby.
Yeah, they looked very solid in the control. It's really just the search and destroy that I feel like there's a lot of work to do. But when it comes to respawns, hardpoint control, a lot of it plays the same, and you can kind of go to those same strats, especially when you're winning the bigger chunks of the gunfights. Like, you know what you have to do to be able to execute, and as long as the gunnies are being won, the guns are hitting, they don't have a whole lot that needs to be changed. It is really the S&D, and I think especially that firing range S&D that a lot of teams have reps on, a lot of practice on, that they're going to look to capitalize against Animus. But nonetheless, they lock in a spot in stage 4, and they got some time to start getting those reps in and improving their search and destroy.
Yeah, and as you guys can see here in chat, the top half, upper bracket, that's what we did yesterday. Those are all the teams that qualified. Zidium made their way through off of the DQ this morning, and now Animus claims another spot in Challengers. Means there are only 2 more spots left for the next stage, which means 2 more matches on the day, 2 more battles to be fought by our teams if they want to continue on their journey potentially to the World Championship, which also means that it is time for our first short break of the day while we let our players get ready for match number 2. But when we return, match number 2 will be with Venturion versus Panic. It's going to be a good one, so don't go anywhere. You're watching the Snapdragon Pro Series.
Welcome to the place where dreams come true, where everything you want can be yours, if and only if you're willing to work for them, you're willing to hurt for them, but most of all, you're willing to be first for them. Ha! Look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop, like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting? It's hot. Look what I got. Whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success is insane. Stay out my lane.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series. Match number 1 of the day is in the books, and we just watched as Animus claimed the next spot in the challenge against Vive Gracia. And now there's only 2 more spots available on the day, which means it's time for us to start talking about match number 2 between Venturion versus Panic. Bobby, what can we expect?
Well, heading into this one, I think Venturion, a team that a lot of people are probably surprised made it this far up against a Panic team that a lot of people are surprised dropped into the lower bracket. So, like I said earlier, I'm anticipating this is going to be 3-0s across the board today. I expect this to be exactly the same with Panic taking the win.
Oh, okay. I love the decisiveness today, Bobby. Mommy, let's talk about this matchup. Specifically, we'll also talk about their rosters. We haven't gotten a chance to see them yet today, obviously. So let's dive into the individuals on these teams. And let's... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really impressive for Venturion to actually make it this far into the competition. And like what we mentioned already before, Fibble actually was from 31er before, and also for Killian. And Bobby actually asked me this question: where is Killian actually from? And he's from Pegasus, and he played a tournament that is really prominent in the EU scene, but unfortunately they were 10th place, so they didn't have any wins at all. And I'm also expecting maybe yours is going to be there, and he's going to be from Enigma. So some names are actually familiar here, but obviously not unlike Panic, where I'm pretty surprised that they're going to be down here in the lower bracket.
We'll have to see how it plays out. On the flip side, though, that's just Venturion's roster, the team that you think's going to take it all, Bobby. Panic, talk to us about him.
I mean, we saw what we needed to see yesterday. Obviously, Onur and Yaya leading the way as the more experienced players on this roster, but solid contributions across the board. Bison, Bouchon, Capronx, all having solid performances. There's just some ups and downs, and ultimately they were not able to close out a series that they looked really strong off the start of. Probably a different result were we not to see a DQ on map 1. So I think the biggest takeaway for Panic, make sure you do not have any restricted items equipped. If you've got that down, then I think they've got a pretty good chance of this one.
Just the friendly reminder before we jump into the match. Make sure that everything is set up and good to go. All right, we're going to be getting the picks and bans up here in just a moment. But Bobby has already put it out into the universe that he thinks everything's going to be a 3-0. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. I'm trying to be more positive for the teams that are, pegged to be here in the lower brackets, that are expected to be here in this place. But, I'm going to be giving that 3-0 because obviously we did get to see 31er just capitalize on that DQ against Panic. So I think that was a huge mental strain coming in from this team. So obviously I feel like they're going to be coming out much stronger today. And especially since we're going to be playing out Hacienda yet again, which is a map that they won up against 31er, but unfortunately lost because of that DQ. So it looks like they want vengeance here in this map.
Ooh, I like it. Bobby, you agree?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I really wish it was a different series that we had Apocalypse for map 4, because I want to see Apocalypse Hardpoint, but I just don't see a map 4 happening. So maybe a search and destroy. This squad has Clayster here, so he's one of the greatest Call of Duty players of all time. Maybe he's cracked on the glass, whatever it is. We'll see if he can step up here in Call of Duty Mobile. Is definitely one of the most storied players in Call of Duty history.
Listen, if he can be a champ on one platform, he can be a champ on all platforms. All right, so we'll have to see how it goes. This game is ready to go, though. Let's just keep the train moving. Match number 2. Let's get underway.
All right. Well, it's my eyes are on Clayster. I think he's got a lot to prove. He's already won multiple championships in the CDL. He's looking to do the same here in Call of Duty Mobile. And over on the flip side, we know what to expect. IQ looked solid on this map yesterday. It was literally only because of a banned item that they ended up taking the L. So I'm expecting a strong start for them, but it is going to be Clayster with the first blood. Make it 2.
And I'm expecting that Bouchon's going to be shredding it yet again because he did have the most kills in his team. That's 39, especially with that Holger in hand. He just really loves his guns. And like what we keep saying actually here in this broadcast, EU players just know how to use that LMG, and I'm interested to see how it's going to be fared up against other regions later on into stage 5. But for now, we're going to be taking a look at our first map here in our second series, as you do get to see Venturion get some significant points down here in P1, as you do get to see Panic kind of have a little bit of a struggle maintaining that power position here into F, but we do get to see an early rotation already from player number 2. That's gonna be Capron here from IQ.
Yeah, Venturion with a strong hold off the start right here. Is a couple of those gunfights, not the prettiest. Bison sitting on 0-4 right now. They need to get him going, and it's Venturion rotated out early. Flick with 5 kills on the board. And Yorzia, that's quite a name, making a push on through, a big kill on that backside. Panic is struggling to find their footing in this one. 3 in the feed should open up a pathway through driveway on into P2, and just like that, looks like they're going to find the break on through and give themselves an opportunity to make this one a little bit closer.
Man, Yorzia. I butchered his name a while ago, and apologies for that, but I feel like I'm gonna keep doing that here on, but I'm gonna try my best. You go, Yorzia though, having that 2-piece, that's still going to be a okay start, but it's looking like Venturia's kind of losing a little bit of gas here in P2, as they did go in there for those early rotations, but needs to go in there for the break. Only have to worry about that one player down, but Yorzia actually wins that gunfight, holder in hand, and still, honestly, Venturia's doing a really good job, and they're doing the early rotations, and if they lose that fight here, they're still able to go and break the hill. Now, rotation is going to be right there. It's going to be key for Venturion, as the rest of Panics actually go in there for that rotation already, especially with Yaya right there cutting that rotation.
Ooh, and he absolutely smacks Glacier coming through right there. Solid setup right now for Panic to try to make their way back into this one. A little bit surprised that we saw that break go through, but they are going to lock in spawns toward the strong side, and a tough pass for Flick and company to make their way through here onto P3. Onur peeking through mid, trying to cut off rotations, able to find one, make it 2 right there, looking for the third, but the timing will not go his way as Flick picks that up. He's still got 4 Panic players to try to clear out. They're able to get a few down, but IQ quickly there to reinforce the hard point.
Oh my goodness, Venturion's actually so good when it comes to breaking the hill, and Panic's actually struggling when it comes to that. As you see, Yorzia's gonna be right there for the flank, but unfortunately he does lose that. Good information down from Flick, but unfortunately not able to capitalize on that purifier. So you do get to see the War Machine being brought out for the side of Panic as well. And scrap points into the favor of Venturion right now, as 2 teammates actually go in there for that rotation already into that last hill, and Panic's actually going in there for the scrap, but I'm surprised that they all went there already and not just utilizing that rotation going into the next hill.
Yaya just straight up outguns Fibble right there, but nice pre-fire for Flick. Locking a couple more kills as Venturion now nearly doubling up on a Panic squad that a lot of people figured to be a shoe-in coming into this one. Right now, looking at Onur, he's sitting on 19. He's leading the way, but the teamwork is just not there for Panic. They're farming the kills, but not converting it into hardpoint time at all. Bouchon going to be able to find the clear right there, and he's going to hold that longer angle to see how long he can keep it, but not going to be able to find the second kill. You have got to get better value out of those operators, and just like that, Venturion back into position to contest, and they find the break once again.
They're so good at managing their utility and just cutting down any kind of entrance with that smoke, especially coming in through mid. They're just so good, and also they're waiting for the rest of their teammates. They're not pushing in one by one, and slowly but surely they're building up a sizable lead. Now we do get to see an early rotation yet again coming in from Venturion, where we only get to see Panic actually go in for the early rotation here in P2. And now we do get to see Panic try to go in for that anchor point here in 2F, which is going to be essential. But let's see who's going to be winning that control here so far. Venturion steps on it. They do get the point down, but how early are they going to be going down? And so far, no one has a solid anchor spot so far.
And the smokes, the tactical usage has been absolutely crucial for Venturion to keep those players on the inside of the hard point safe, and Panic just has not had an answer for it. Able to find the kills, but not when it counts, and Venturion still sitting up 60 points right now. You've got Onur sitting on 26 right now. There's only one player on Venturion that's within half of that. And regardless, they still have not managed to find any significant chunks of hard point time as we head back over toward P2. This is a crucial one, and once again, Venturion rotated out early, perfectly set up right now. Well, you've got Panic fighting for 6 seconds of scrap time. Just no discipline right here as they once again get caught out of position.
This is exactly what we saw in P3, where all 5 of them were trying to get that scrap points. Now it's going to be the same thing. Panic was able to break this hill a while ago, even though Venturion went in there for the earlier rotation. But right now, they're kind of spread out. Seems like they kind of want to go in there for more of that driveway push. They do get that spawns, though. Everyone else from Venturia is going to be spawning off here by Rock, and they're just winning a lot of the gunfights. We see a lot of plays going to be smoked out, and Venturion is just playing their utility to perfection. And speaking of, pops off another smoke, and oh my goodness, this is how you play that util.
And right now, you gotta have more team pushes. So many individual pushes out of IQ. They finally start to group up, but they get cut off before they can even make their way into the hard point. They finally find the break right here, but find themselves down nearly 100 points. Not where they expected to be in this matchup. Streak's gonna start to form right now for Panic, and looks like nobody gonna contest that scrap time, so you can send the rest of your players out and start to battle over toward P3. But right now, a solid setup once again is Venturion just looking like the more disciplined team, and even when the gunfights weren't going their way, able to get the bigger chunks of scrap time. Yaya maybe a little bit overzealous on that gunfight, and Flick cutting off the backside spawns. Right now, they are in a great spot to once again build on this lead.
I'm loving this right now from Venturion. They are playing everything right. The rotation is early. The OBJ is there. They know the objective. Yaya, though, goes in there for the break, but unfortunately goes down, pushes up with the Purifier that can only handle so much distance. And now we do get to see a retake finally happen to the side of Panic with 30 seconds. That's a lot of time. And then it's going to be Bison's Preddy that will create space for them. The defense is going to be on, and this is a solid start so far coming in here. EMP's going to be brought out as... Oh, wow, that's going to be... Whose EMP was that?
I'm not sure. If I had to guess, Onur, because he's been farming kills for the entire time, but if it is, it hasn't really resulted in a whole lot. That was a solid 60 seconds for Panic, or at least close to it, to give them a chance. But once again, Venturion more disciplined and in position heading into P4 right here. This one, typically a little bit more difficult to hold, and especially with the amount of smokes going out, that's going to set up an opportunity for IQ to break on through. But Yaya does get traded out after that triple Zoria shut down as well. Yorzia shut down as well. Sorry, still trying to get that pronunciation down. And a big kill out of Clayster to at least let his team get pushed up right here. But it seems like Panic's starting to focus up right now and doing a much better job of team pushing this hard point. They find the break, and they're looking to make it stick as they're trying to tie things up.
Here we go. Now, the usage of the score streaks and the operator skills is definitely going to be key for Panic to try to catch up the points. They're able to take that into that P3, and now here in P4, even though they were late in the rotation, doesn't really matter. They're able to time it really well, going in there for the break. But we do get to see Venturion trying to step on it, contesting the point. Scrap point's going to be more into their favor. And yes, they're going to be playing out their smokes really well, but they are going to be getting those essential scrap points, as we do get to see Fibble. Possibility to get that second kill. Combo 4 already for him, possibly. But he doesn't really quite spot anybody there, as the rotation going into P1 is going to ensue. And Yaya almost gets that kill, but obviously with Flick and the Kilo is going to be a little bit more forbidding here, because the distance is going to be in their favor.
I don't know if Yaya knows what gun he's using, because I continuously see him taking 40-meter gunfights with his Switchblade against ARs and LMGs, and he's losing every time. Like, obviously, he's got the gun skill, but you gotta know when not to shoot back, and they have made him pay every single time. Fortunately for Panic, they've been able to reduce that lead from 90 all the way down to 20, and with Capronx up in the top side, trying to get things cleared out for those OBJ players to lock in some more time. 3 wiped off the board should open up some time, but they have got to start hitting these rotations earlier. It looks like one player already pushed out. It's Yaya with a crucial gunfight heading into P2. He wins that one. Another one that doesn't go his way, but they get those spawns toward driveway side, and they're in a good spot to once again try to push on through, and it looks like Bison gonna make his way in the point.
Fibble able to win that gunfight, and unfortunately for them, they lose the next 2, and we do get to see that Preddy try to get that information down, and also gets that kill from Onur, and he's been an absolute beast in this game. 45 already to his name, especially with that Holger in hand, able to spam a lot of these shots from across the map. And we do get to see a little bit more of a pinch coming in from Venturion, but there you go. It's the pinch that they're really good at. They're actually really good at breaking the hill, and so far they're still trying to go in there, not giving up. And we do get to see the switch finally happen. And this is our 3rd lead switch, I think, of the day, and Venturion still tries to get those. Looking like a very solid defense so far, especially with Fibble with Sparrow in hand.
huge value on that Sparrow, and if you're Panic, you can't chalk it up and go next quite yet. You need a contest right here. Venturion can still win it right here. It looked like they were finally regaining control of this one, but completely wiped on 3 straight pushes right here, and all down to Yaya. He can't win the gunfight. Bouchon, you've got to go. He wins the opener right there. I don't know if there was enough time, and one player pushes in, but he gets shut down. Venturion takes map number 1 up against Panic, and my predictions are out the window.
I love it. I love being proven wrong. I mean, like what we said about the teams that we didn't get to see yesterday, we don't know what to expect. We're just guessing at this point. We don't know how it went down. We only see some sort of numbers, but to actually see such clean hard point matches here, especially coming in from the side of Venturion, they were playing everything right. Absolutely everything. Rotation, always on point, always going for the early rotation, playing their smokes so well. And I think this is the best play of smokes I've seen in any team here so far in the EU region, cutting off so much, especially here in that P4. And wow, what a way to make yourselves known here in this region.
And honestly, so much of that just looked like it came down to careless gameplay for Panic. Like, they were winning the bulk of the gunfights. They look so strong in the individual plays, but the teamwork for Venturion was so much better. The decision-making, the rotations, the early setups, even though they didn't necessarily always find the hold every single time, they were the first team on the hard point, and it paid dividends for them as they take down a very experienced Panic team and put them in a dangerous spot to be at a negative deficit here off the start of map number 1.
That is just so impressive to see, especially knowing very well that Viva Gracia has always been in the middle of the pack, and they're actually going up against a team that has had experience that honestly we've always seen them shine. And Yaya, Onur, and Bouchon is actually going to be a really good player as well, especially with the whole grain hand. Like what we mentioned yesterday, he had a 39k, and they did get the kills, yes, but the OBJ was just missing right now for this Panic team.
Yeah, and once again, it came down to a lot of individual plays, and I don't know if it was maybe them not taking this matchup seriously, if they didn't feel like Venturion was a legitimate contender, but heading into Search and Destroy, they have to think, yeah, maybe we should take these guys seriously, because they just look kind of silly right there. Like, this is a map that I think majority of people watching in chat agree that should have been an easy win for them. And I think with the kill disparity being what it was, that is further proof of that point. But they didn't get the OBJ players in position, or even if they did not do a good job of defending them, and now they need to bounce back here in the firing range, search and destroy. The snipers were firing on all cylinders yesterday. We'll see if they can do the same here on map number 2.
Here we go. We do get to see Venturion on the attack. Bison gets that first pick, and that was a really good spot for him. Goes in there for the reposition, going in for that Bravo push instead, and Venturia's going to be unmoving. And Yaya's going to be going in there a little bit deep into this hill, but Killian's going to be right there for the defense. Fibble going to be there upstairs, and they're just not moving at all. They're trying to get that information down, but they need to move a little bit soon. They do have a lot of time, on 1 minute and 34 to play with, but this is just so interesting how Yaya is going to be in right now.
Yeah, he's going to be tough to clear out. Not quite peeking far enough for Killian to see him through the doorway. But I think he's making a little bit of noise right here. And Killian, timing might not go his way as Yaya finally decides to peek through. But it's not going to be enough of a peek to lock in the kill right there. Fibble does pick up the sniper from the dropped Yorzia. And right now, down a man. Solid positioning, solid spot for IQ to be. Don't over push. Yaya makes him pay. And just like that, only 2 players remain for Venturion.
Man, I mean, you know Yaya's going to be right there, and Venturion just had no answer to him whatsoever, and he was already making so much noise and getting those picks. Bomb's going to be taken now, and Capron takes him down. Clayster goes down. Only a 1v5 left, and you're so far away. If you're Flick, you're so far away when it comes to the bomb. Does get that kill, but the owner is right there for a quick trade. And this is going to be a scary map coming in from Panic. I mean, coming in from Viva Gracia, rather, because we do know that Onur can definitely slay out. He had 17 yesterday in Slums with the Locust in hand, so he was a big reason why they won that S&D in Slums.
All right. Well, strong opening round for IQ right here, and a little bit of a different look for Venturion as they send the entire team on over to B, and there is nobody but Bouchon to defend. Clayster going to open things up with a snipe. Smokes, utility starting to go out right here. Maybe not where you wanted the nade to go, but Bison fires back. Fibble going to drop his Clayster there for the trades. Right now with the bomb going down. Rough spot with Yaya hitting the jump shots right there, and Flick's still going to stick with it. There's nobody really to watch, but Venturion's still able to find the kills. Bison takes the head off of Flick, and with the bomb down, all down to him to try to clutch the 1v2.
Bison's being essential here. A 1v2, especially with a sniper in hand, it's definitely doable. And there you go. He gets that pick, brings it out to a 1v1. Yorzia gonna be a snake right now. But the timing's gonna be right. He's gonna be able to go in there for the flank here, up against the last member of IQ right now. And it looks like the timing's gonna be in his favor. And right there, an easy kill from Yorzia. All right, that is going to be signs of life from Venturion, and you know that they can slow things down and they're not over pushing. I feel like for Clayster, he probably shouldn't have gone there into that bomb site, knowing very well there's a sniper right there. So a couple of misplays coming in from Venturion rather in the early rounds, but able to sustain into that plant. And I feel like if you're gonna be down on numbers, the best place is going to be in that Bravo flag.
Well, IQ sticking with the same defensive setup, only one player over toward B, but they get the information, no heavy push this time around. Clayster looking for wall bangs, trying to convert right there, but it's Fibble opening things up. Capronx drops at the hands of a nade, and with the bomb in the hand, and nobody spotted over on the A side. Maybe an opportunity for Venturion to make the push right here. Once again, looking for EUR to keep going. It has been the Bison show so far, as he's got 6 of the 9 kills for this Panic squad. Yaya gonna sit back with the Bison and just try and see if he can find some information. Nobody crossing mid here, and it's gonna be up to Venturion to commit one direction or the other. IQ waiting for that information.
Venturion is so good when it comes to playing that passive, and now they're going to decide to go into that alpha side. They're going to be leaving player number 4, though. That's going to be Yorzia for that flank watch. He does have that sniper in hand, so that's going to be key for them. They only have to worry about that one play, but Bison's been an absolute monster. Gets one. Gives that information down. A fast push coming in from Panic. Gets that second. There you go. And we don't get to see Panic with their smokes in the last game. And Venturion right now is not being able to utilize it. Now, Owner gets that kill as well. And it's just so quick right now, especially knowing very well that Panic's able to utilize with Bison, opening up that space and getting those first bloods, giving that information down. And looking like the comms here for Panic is just really lightning quick.
Defend the objective.
Venturion, where are the trophies? You gotta defend your planter right there, making it too easy for IQ. And they are able to convert once again. Bison leading the way. Onur starting to get heated up as well. And no information to be found for Venturion as they send 4 players over toward B, and they instantly wrap back toward A. Seems like IQ has no idea. Capron's going to be forced back, but he's only able to find one before getting traded out. And Venturion looking to get the fast plant down right here. It sounded like they had trophies in position, but it does get shot down. Might be helpful to position that behind the bomb, but Yaya hits the flank right here, and communication seems to be non-existent for Venturion. No type of turn to try to find the flanker, and that is going to be a quick couple of rounds through for IQ.
Makes me wonder where Yorzia was at, because he was supposed to be that flank watch that Venturion needed, because I feel like that was such a good push, and I feel like him going down definitely was the biggest reason why they lost that round, even though they did have numbers advantage. And now for Panic, you're doing a phenomenal job at having such lightning quick response and communications between your team. And now quick push again coming in here. Capron gets that kill, gets that double. Clayster goes in there for the trade. But again, the information going to be lightning quick here for Panic as they go into position. Bomb's going to be down in a really bad spot, though. I mean, no, the bomb's not going to be down. They were able to pick it up, but he's going to be trapped right now.
Well, they get read like a book right there, and now the 2 remaining players force way back. The bomb has dropped, and that's all the information that IQ need to be able to collapse. Yaya gets way pushed up, and one more player to deal with. Snipe does not connect for Clayster, and that is now 3 rounds in a row going through for Panic, as they are most certainly back in the driver's seat, feeling confident on the defensive side of the bomb. But we've seen from a lot of these EU teams, Solid defensive setups, but struggles when it comes to finding a way to create a pathway to that bomb site on the offensive side. They're going to want to convert as many rounds as possible, and they let one player get all the way pushed up through mid. That's going to be Yaya once again. He does some damage and relays the information.
I mean, Yaya has been a menace in mid. He has been giving so much information. He's been giving so much kills to his team. And now it seems like that also allowed everyone else from Panic to push up very confidently. Yaya, what? He was so fast in the rotation. What the heck? And that was really good. Bushan, though, possibility to get that second kill. Bomb holder going to be down. And Clayster going down is going to be very bad for them. Bushan gets that second kill with the LK-24 in hand. Going to be really quiet here. Possibility to get that third kill for him is going to be right there. But with the bomb being down, the last player coming in from Venturion, that's going to be Flick with just one kill to his name. We'll have to worry about the 4 players from Panic right now, and they know where he is. He's going to be trapped.
Ooh, Bushan, clean as can be. Takes down Flick right there, and that's going to be Panic. Solid on the defensive side, only in need of 2 more rounds to close this one out and tie up the series. And they're looking to continue this momentum as they hop on over to the offensive side. And looks like it's going to be a passive setup off the start right here. Nope, I'm going to go ahead and group up. And Yaya's going to full send on through right here. But Killian going to find first blood onto Bushan. And Capronk's going to end up paying right there. A couple of hit markers on both sides. It is, or was, going to be man advantage for Venturion. But Yaya, over top of the barrel heady, able to convert. Killian going to be forced back. Looks like Yaya's still going to commit on the plant right here. And he should be able to regen to push things into a 3v2 for the retake.
You get to see that flank coming in from play number 2. That's Fibble. And Onur is going to be in a very difficult spot as Fibble does get the timing right. Killian, on the other hand, will be joining his teammate just a tiny bit. And Bison gets that kill. Switchblade in hand, does spot that last player, and that's going to be good. LK-24, you're going to be using that to your advantage, but unfortunately, Yaya's going to be a little bit too quick with the PP-19 Bison. Oh my gosh, and this is where Panic is just going to be getting started. And so far for Venturion, Bobby, being passive for them in the attacking side just didn't work out for them at all. Being passive just takes too long, and the flank just comes through. And for Panic right now, they're just doing an amazing job at the attacking so far.
And I love what we're seeing out of Panic to try to catch him off guard right here. It is going to be Zoria getting aggressive to take down Onur early on, but still heavy committing over toward this B side. And Zoria is going to be pushed all the way back as they slide through to the corner. Yaya going to look to be in position. Bushan's going to find one before getting traded out, but Yaya's there as well. Now the 2v3, but all down to Capronks, and you're dealing with a sniper right there. You don't want to peek him. Nearly finds the wall bang. Looking for a 1v3 to try to end the map early. But right now, a solid setup for all the Venturion players.
Venturion has all 3 lanes covered. You should probably get that information down if you were Clayster. And right now, we get to see Capron's going to be trapped. He does not have the weapon for those long-range engagements, and he is going to be spotted by Clayster. And that should give that information to Fibble right now. Oh, unfortunately, Clayster goes in there. The timing's not going to be right, but obviously, Capron still gets that kill. Clayster needs to go and wait for his teammate because you do not want to get singled out right now, and Capron is playing this so well. 40 seconds left on the clock, and he's making a lot of noise here by Steelhouse, but he does still have an advantage to try and plant in Bravo.
And I don't think they spotted him across mid right here. Capronks might be able to find this second kill. And now the 1v3 is very, very doable. Gonna look to get the bomb down right here. Will Killian spot the right angle? He does, but it looks like he's gonna be able to get away. Both players very, very weak. And now an opportunity to get the plant down right here as Killian has run as far as can be away from the bomb. And this is going to be a high-intensity 1v1 for the total 1v3 clutch. Capronks looks like he's going to read it properly, and that is not a head glitch. You want to challenge Killian. What are we doing? Re-peeking after he's already hit us multiple times, and they just served up that 1v3 on a silver platter.
Oh my gosh, this is what I didn't want. They were in such good position, and oh man. Okay, I mean, like what you mentioned, the fact that you're re-peaking it 3 times in a row, there's something wrong here when it comes to that S&D play. So, man, that is really good for Panic right now. That should probably feel really nice as well, knowing very well that people didn't expect them to lose that hard point matchup. But it really was Venturion that is just, they didn't really have any kind of flank watch or anything, and when they tried to go aggressive, they weren't able to play their utils right. And you mentioned it a while ago that they didn't have any of those utils to play with. There was no smoke, and also when it comes to the trophy system, it was just not there. And it was also that lightning quick communication coming in from Panic that is just so impressive. And we saw a while ago the Venturion, it was just like really slow.
Well, it was very, very sniper heavy early on for IQ, but as you start to make the reads, as you start to guess how the game plan for Venturion, you start to see players like Yaya heat up a little bit more, have a bigger impact. And I think especially his mid presence was crucial for just keeping Venturion constantly on their heels. They did not know where to expect him, and so many of those big mid pushes allowed flanks to come through, and those flankers able to find the crucial kills to make life easy in the search and destroy. So they tie things up 1-1 right here, heading into the control. Got to be feeling a little bit more of the momentum, but still such a shaky hard point out of them. You know you're capable of winning the gunfights, but you got to have better teamwork heading into this control as well.
So the last time that we saw a Panic here, it was up against 31er yesterday, and it was a 0-3 in this particular map as well. So it didn't really look too good for Panic, and now let's see how they're able to adjust, especially since that was a very hard round for them. Especially now Capron looking like he's going to be in a better spot today. He did have the UL in hand yesterday with 22 kills, but we do get to see that Panic is going to be starting off on that defensive side, and so far it's going to be blue on the kill feed.
All right, it's life advantage for Panic off the start right here. Eorzea, only player to find kills, but a couple come through as Clayster able to find one for himself. Bouchon controlling the mid-map right now. And so interesting that that's been a go-to spot Zigzag has for these Holger LMGs. The player just so good at maneuvering with them, as Yaya does get traded out, and Venturion only down 1 life right now, but have yet to lock in any map control or any ticks of progression on these objectives. And now 3 straight kills come through for IQ, an opportunity for them to start setting up the spawn trap early.
Panic is just so good at holding mid. They do have 2 players right there to cut that rotation off of Venturion. Flick is going to be greeted by those 2 players. Capron gets 1. Possibility to get that second. He does spot him. Gets turned on. Killian goes down. Clayster and Eorzea does get 2 apiece on the back end. And so far, no kind of defense whatsoever from Panic here in that alpha flag. And we do get to see a response and a quick rotation from Venturion trying to get into alpha, but Panic is just so quick as well. There's 3 players right now in mid, and possibility for that spawn trap from player number 4 here in Zigzag.
Well, yeah, straight beaming with the Bison in hand. They're back up 7 lives right now. Eorzea doesn't get the timing, but still wins the gunfight. He's sitting on an 8 spree, but has not gotten a whole lot of help in this one, and Flick's going to be able to find 1 before getting traded out. Still sitting up 7 lives as IQ, and 1 player in position to spawn trap. Still, Eorzea farming these kills. He finally gonna get his spree put to an end as Panic take round 1. He's got some score streaks to work with, but you have got to get those other players going, as Killian still yet to find a kill.
Definitely. And it's like they weren't even trying to go for that Bravo push instead. It's like they were dwindling when it comes to those lives, trying to keep on pushing into Alpha. And there's a reason why you kind of push that site later on after getting that B flag. And now Panic's going to try to go in for that Bravo push. Bouchon leads the way, gets that kill. Does get spotted though. But Yaya going to be going down as well. We still get to see a lot of progress here in Bravo, as everyone else from Venturio is going to be just catching up just a tiny bit. Only 1 player is going to be right there. And Killian so far not in luck, as we get to see only just 1 player. That's going to be Onur, that's going to try to go in there for the win. And he's trying to, you know, get a lot of these kills compared to yesterday, because he didn't really have the best of times.
Well, this is an early B capture right here to kind of put Venturion on their heels once again. Yaya wins the big gunfight in mid. Venturion does still have the life advantage, and they get Yaya cleared out. So they're in a solid position with about as much information as they could hope for. Eorzea gonna pop the Annihilator. He finds 2 early with that one. Caprong's firing back, but it is still the bulk of the kills going toward Venturion, and Yorzia playing the waiting game, doesn't seem to realize Bison's around the corner, and Yaya clean with the movement, switchblade in hand, able to take him down right there as they still look to make their way over toward A. Some information as the Bison shots go through, and Onur drops the player inside of top laundry, and that could be the opening they're looking for.
They really need to have more pressure in mid because that is allowing Panic to just go into their spawn just so much easier, and especially that rotation going into Alpha. We do get to see player number 2 though. That's going to be Fibble trying to go in there for that pressure and zigzag, get spot spawn. And now he's going to try to go in there for that flank watch as well into that spawn trap. Flick. Doesn't get that kill. And there you go. He does get turned on by the War Machine from Bison.
They get on the objective right now. One ticket progression through, and Killian has got to find a way to clear out these corners. Doesn't quite see Yaya yet. Gets a couple of shots through, but just doesn't have an angle to be able to take him out, and he's trying so hard. Finally, the kill goes through, but that is a lot of progress here for IQ, and you've still got Onur set up on a nice heady. He does get taken down. 4 lives to work with. You probably got one more good push if you're Panic. You have got to convert on these gunfights, and right now the lives continue to dwindle as Yaya and Bushan taken down. No respawns remaining, and it looks like, despite the solid pushes out of Panic, it should be an offensive, rather defensive round here for Venturion.
Yorzia is on a 17 right now when we're only in our round number 2. And his team's actually going to be able to capitalize on that. And Panic right now looking like they kind of fell apart at the very end of that. It was still fairly close in the middle, but again, they kind of struggled, especially knowing very well that they actually had that flank on for Venturion. And now let's get to see how well they can play this attacking round, because from the first round, they didn't really have a good time. Fibble, though, when it comes to the Sparrow, gets those kills. And let's see, he was able to do it, but unfortunately, he does not able to use it efficiently. And he does go down very early on and losing a chance to use that Sparrow to his advantage.
Well, right now, Fibble's gonna find a big nade kill right there to give Venturion the life advantage, and they've got some progress here on B as well. It looks like not much of a contest for Panic, especially with 2 players getting shut down. You see the Pred, you could have had at least 2 more, but I guess just wanted to keep the mid-map clear right there. Unfortunately for him, Onur is there to reinforce. They do get that A progress fully through, but the tougher task at hand has been capturing B, and Onur gonna get caught off guard. That's gonna leave the mid-map wide open. Venturion trying to make their way through to top laundry. Bison gonna be able to shut down one before getting taken down, and Yaya looking to hit the flank right here.
Capron's gonna be able to cut that rotation from 2 players right now from Venturion, and speaking of, he does get that 1 kill. Now there's gonna be 2 of them, and now that actually stops Venturion in their tracks, and they actually still have a man advantage though, but they do need to send more players off here into top laundry. They do have a 1 person in kitchen though. Killian with the oh, they lose that. They lose the claw. Yorzia still has the annihilator, but a claw wasted right now. They need to step on it. Player number 3, that's going to be for the side of Venturion. Clayster is in a really good spot to take out this 1 player right now. It's still going to be Capron, and he's been the stopping force right now for Panic not to get spawn trapped.
Yeah, losing that Annihilator was crucial. Couple big opening kills to at least keep hopes alive for Venturion, but they have tried to hit this top laundry flank and gotten red every single time by Panic. Bushan shutting down that mid window. Clayster gonna drop there as well, and that life lead is disappearing quickly for Venturion as that's attempt to take control of the left side of the map is just not working out for them. The LMGs, too much firepower. Killian's gonna be able to find 1 right there, but just like that, we're tied up in lives with no signs of progress toward that A side.
Here we go. Onur's going to be that stopping force in mid, and Capron going to be that stopping force, the wall here in that spawn area. Yeah, wins that big gunfight as yours is going to be spawning right off across the map, and so far Venturion struggling to get any kind of control here, and Panic is just playing their headies to perfection. At this point, Fibble does get that signs of fly for him. Yorzia gets a piece as well, and they're trying to set up, and so far they need to get that spawn control here in Special Forces base.
Yeah, only 7, make it a 7-life lead. 3 lives remaining for Venturion. Clayster's built some streaks, but not going to opt to use the operator right here. as they just make zero progress over toward the A side, and neither team has really found any way to make that happen. The top side control has just been too strong, and I think it's going to take one big push with a couple of operators to be able to make that happen and get an offensive round capture over on A. A little bit surprised we don't see an aggressive early A push right here, as Panic know that they're fully capable of capturing over on this B side. It's just the question of whether or not they can get A, but they're sticking with what they know so far. And right now, trying to win those early gunfights to put themselves in position to make a wrap over toward A.
Yorzia is going to be in a really essential gunfight to try and control this gallery, and he does win it, so that's going to be huge for him. Predity is going to be taken out, and taking out Yorzia going to be timing not in his side. Clayster is in a really good position as well to go and defend this, and Bouchon's going to be spotted right there. LK-24 is going to be the perfect gun for this type of engagement right here in top laundry. And Venturion just doing a solid job when it comes to that defense, and that third tick of progress here in Bravo is just not being able to sustain right now, as we do get to see Venturion members just going in there for that such solid defense.
Hostile hunter-killer
right now, looking to get B locked in. Bouchon wins the crucial gunfight to make sure that they can get the rest of that progress over on B. But the tougher task is getting that A capture. So we'll start to see if maybe some of the utility opens an opportunity. Yorzia not giving up this top position anytime soon. Yaya is able to duck back, and Bouchon there to reinforce as they get pushed in through kitchen right now, and they're in a perfect spot to start pushing here onto A. Yaya up in the sniper's nest, going to be crucial. He does finally get taken out by the Purifier. The players hop the objective for IQ, and they are trying to get this locked in as soon as possible, looking to win this on the offensive side. They've got a life lead here as well. Yorzia gonna get shut down. Same for Killian and Onur. Straight beaming with the Holger in hand. Yaya does get taken out in that kitchen area, but if you're Venturion, you have got to go. Fibble has got to get pushed up to take out these IQ players. They get things wiped off, but they give up a lot of lives in the process, and only one tick of progression able to be given up before we find a win for IQ.
13 lives to 8 right now is going to be our life count. And so far, everyone from Panic is going to be ready. This is the one last push that they need, and that is a beautiful smoke to play with, and that is a way to just stop it. Yortadil goes in there blind with Annihilator in hand and just finishes it. Onur with a claw, and that's going to be huge for them. 8 and 6. Still very doable for Venturia to try and even things out, and Clayster getting that double is going to be huge for them. And a lot of the operators are actually going to be wasted from both teams right now. So 5 and 7, still very doable for Venturion again. Clayster is going to apply that pressure down, spots that one player. Doesn't really quite finish the job though. Yaya still right there, super close here in Hut.
And Panic maybe getting a little bit overzealous. Obviously, you would like to be able to win on captures, but you don't have to. You've had 1 minute that you can afford to play TDM. They do finally get players pushed onto the objective, and Venturion going to be pushed out. They don't have any other option. Panic makes them pay. And once again, the control map closer than I expected it to be, but well played by Panic to be able to find that offensive round and close things out early. They now move up to a 2-1 lead in the series.
That's going to be impressive. And honestly, I think it was that mid-pressure in the early rounds from Panic. They always just won that. And the stopping force that they had, they were playing their headies right, especially going in there for that defense. And it was that one person, actually. It was going to be, I think, was it Capron? I think it was Capron. Either it was Capron or Bison that was so good at dealing with that spawn control and just defending their spawn from that spawn trap. And everyone else from Panic's actually doing a phenomenal job. But what I'm seeing right now from Venturion is we're slowly seeing this one person just shine. That's going to be Yorzia, which is definitely going to be hard up against a team like Panic to deal with the gunfights, but he has just so much kills in this round, and unfortunately everyone else in his team kind of struggling to get the same kills as him.
Yeah, he was an absolute nightmare for Panic to deal with. Like you said, I think he was upwards of 30 kills in this one, maybe slowed down a little bit at the end, but it was really that strong mid push in round 4 that opened up an opportunity for IQ to finally get pushed onto the A objective. They find a way to win an offensive round. The fact that you're able to do that, it's a good sign, but it's going to take a lot more for them to be able to do that against some of the top teams in all of Europe. So much work still to be done for this Panic squad. They're going to look to close things out here in the hard point And I believe wait, do we get to see Apocalypse?
You do get to see Apocalypse. I was about to hype you up on that.
All right, I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, your wish is finally gonna happen. And you did say that you unfortunately might not see it here in this not 3-0, by the way. So both of our wishes definitely gonna come true as Apocalypse is gonna happen. And you know how chaotic this map can be? Everything is just so wide open and we love to see it.
Yep, definitely a very spawn-oriented hardpoint map. P2 and P4 going to be absolutely crucial to have players in the back of the map locking down those spawns, and that's going to mean that it's very rotation-oriented as well, which is something that we saw IQ struggle with significantly on map 1. We'll see if they can turn things around and be a little bit more disciplined on this one, but they are going to be starting on the strong side. Top side of the map, a lot more head glitches to work with to lock in not only some early hardpoint time, but early spawns as well. This should work to their advantage off the start.
And like what you mentioned, the spawns are definitely going to be key here because when it comes to the cover, you don't really have much. And now we do get to start things off in P1, and Venturion's going to be stepping on it very early on. Player number 2, Fibble, is going to be right there in a perfect position to try and win the gunfights here by Trench's area. And now he's going to be an essential player there. It does provide enough time for his teammates to go in for the rotation, and he's able to stop any kind of push coming in from Panic.
Well, right now, it's still spawn control in the hands of IQ, and even though they're not getting a whole lot of this hardpoint time, they're in a good spot to at least be able to contest. I'm not sure what Bison was shooting at right there. Does end up getting the kill, and Bouchon's just got that nice little heady to work with, but gets ripped off of it by Fibble right there. Not going to be enough to break the spawns. There's still a lot more headies you've got to go through to get there. Bouchon able to get that final kill to at least lock in the spawns, but Panic not getting much hardpoint time right here. They've definitely got to capitalize and look for a full 60 here on P2.
And right now we do get to see Panic just having a super solid hold here by back temple spawn, which is something that you absolutely want, and they are very much knowledgeable that they need to keep that. Player number 2, Capron, is going to be that anchor for his team, and so far it's just working out for them. They've created an invisible line for Venturion to, you know, it's going to be no man's land because going in through mid is definitely going to be hard, and so the only place that they can actually go through right now is going to be into the trenches area right below that hut, and so far we only have like one person there. That's Onur creating so much pressure. They finally win that gunfight though, but again, it's going to be that spawn area that's going to be in control for the side of Panic.
Yep. Yaya locking down the window this time around, and this is exactly why it's so crucial to have those top side spawns. Bison somehow staying alive. That is a tiny pillar to work with. He continues to soak up the hardpoint time. Yorzia finally peeks the proper side and able to break on through, but it's a little bit late to be doing that because that is going to put you in a rough spot heading over toward P3 and looking like a bit of a planned spawn flip here for IQ as Bison's going to be able to get that top side locked down early. Flick doing everything he can to defend here, and Venturion finds a couple of those crucial kills, so they are not in a bad spot here heading into P3.
And they're really good when it comes to these really open hard points. At the moment, they did get majority of P1, and now they're trying to get this is a very difficult hard point to actually defend. And so far, it's going to be a back and forth, which is something that we kind of see happening a lot of the time here. And so far, we do get to see Venturion winning majority of the gunfights, and they do have the more favorable spawn. And player number 3, though, Clayster gets an essential kill with that LK, gets that information as well, cuts that rotation off, using the length to his advantage. And so far, that also gives his team the time to rotate in, and also the Purifier in hand is going to be huge coming in from Fibble.
And when it comes to the 50-50 hard points, Venturion have absolutely looked stronger. Your P1s, your P3s, they have done a phenomenal job of keeping things contested, getting these chunks. But no question, it has been much better spawn control for Panic on this one. And that's where you really find the money hills. That being said, very solid setup for Venturion right now. Big gunfight up ahead for Onur. He's looking to clear out that back spawn. And with a deep flank right now, he might be in position to do that. Shots going across. Yorzia trying to clear him out right now. And Caprong's doing everything he can, trying to see if IQ can break through the front right here, but Flick catches him off guard. Nice little heady to work with, and Venturion continues to trend upward as they remain in control of the spawns.
Oh, that's just really huge for them. P4 is right now the playground of Venturion, and an adjustment they need to make is do the same thing coming in from P2, because that's going to be your money hill right now. We do get to see Bison winning that essential gunfight, but unfortunately no one's going to be right there for the trade. And we do get to see just 20 points actually going to be towards Panic right now, as they are able to utilize. But quickly enough, though, Venturion is able to go in there for the trades. But one thing that I'm interested about is Venturion's actually not able to step on this particular hard point. They were not able to efficiently get a lot of these points down, even though they did have the more favorable spawn.
Capture the objective.
Yeah, a lot of time invested in just maintaining that position. Obviously, you do end up getting more time than Panic, but Panic doing a fantastic job of keeping them second guessing and keeping players push to the outskirts so that they're not in position to lock down the OBJ. A couple big gunfights going through for Venturion right here. They're looking to get one player pushed up to see if they can flip those spawns. And big gunfights up on the top side. Killian gets the better, but he doesn't get the spawns, doesn't push up the stairs right there. And that could have been a game-changing play. But IQ going to remain in control right there as they are set up nicely for this P2 rotation. Utility going across, and Fibble going to get shut down right there as Panic continues to lock in some of the scrap time here on P1-2.
Man, Venturion just really wanted to get those spawns here in Temple, but unfortunately Capron is just too good. And yes, Killian won that gunfight, but he wasn't deep enough into Temple to actually get it for his team, ready enough for P2. And now we finally get to see Venturion actually have scrap points and also get that spawn here in Temple as well. So a finally good switch around that we finally get to see here from Venturion, 122 and 89. And this is actually going to be a really long game here so far. We get to see player number 4 from Panic, though, Bushan, trying to get that control as well, especially with the Annihilator in hand. Possibility for him to get that, but with 3 players right there to greet him, it's going to be proving to be very difficult as they do get the spawn. A very good start so far here in P2 in the second set of rotations for Venturion.
Potentially a game-changing flip for Venturion as they're now in position to potentially take the lead right here. Killian trying to make the most of his claw. Nobody peeking right now, but flicking the top side, able to shut down Bushan. Fibble finds another for himself, and if you're Panic, it might be time to chalk it up and hit the rotation over toward P3. Constantly looking to push up through Temple, but too many head glitches that you got to go through. They're still working for this scrap time with only 20 seconds left, and Venturion might be willing to part ways with it if it means they can be in good position heading over toward P4, or rather P3, but it looks like Panic has the early setup right here. The one player there to be pesky is going to find a couple, but the Pred shuts down Yaya and opens up the push here onto P3.
And right now, what Venturion needs to do is actually get that Gorilla Base spawn back, sort of what they did actually a while ago. But Flick gets that beautiful kill with the Purifier, gets the 3rd kill. That opened things up for them, and even though they didn't have the more favorable spawn, that was a good usage when it comes to that Operator skill. He does get taken down, though, but applies that pressure. So that's still going to be huge for them now as they do get the favorable spawn, and this is what you don't want if you're going to be Panic. They did have the better first half, but when it comes to Venturion, they're so good at this hardpoint mode.
All right. Yaya pushes through, able to find one, flicks onto a second, and Panic going to be able to get some time locked in here. Obviously, Venturion main concern is making sure they have those backside spawns locked down. They're not going to flip out quite yet, but IQ being able to get this scrap time is going to be huge, especially with how well they were able to keep the Venturion players off of P3 last time, or rather P4 last time around. Bushan looking to work with the head glitch right here, but nobody peeking above those rocks. And Killian can just stay on the backside of this rock as long as he wants to, but gets beamed off by Bushan, and that could be the opening as a couple players start to hit the flank right here. Big gunfight for Bison. Can he come out on top? 1 HP looking to regen. He's still in the midst of it, and nobody seems to be able to find the final kill, but Clayster's able to shut him down.
Man, that is a huge kill coming in from the side of Venturion, but they do still win it. Panic is able to get those spawns instead. And this is where Venturion actually kind of had a hard time a while ago. And yes, they were still able to get majority of the points, but not as much as they actually wanted to, as the operators are going to come out. Capron's going to try to clear out the side, able to do so. And that is going to be a lot of trades already back and forth from both sides, actually, of the coin. And now 15 seconds left on the scrap points here for P4. Venturion still gets that. An essential 1v1 being won by Bouchon. And now that's going to allow Panic to get the essential scrap points that they have. 5 points is still out, especially knowing very well that we've had, like, what, our third or fourth lead change of the game right now here in Hardpoint.
Well, this is huge out of Clayster. He's going to be able to find 2. It's not going to be enough to flip the spawns, but one player pushing up right now, it's going to be Yorzia. And he's able to push through the top side as it's really just Onur left questioning what is happening right now. I don't think he realizes that the spawns have flipped out and could be disastrous once again for Panic, as they're going to have to look to see if they can get a full 60 here on P1. Typically one of the tougher hard points to hold. Killian up above, going to come through with the claw. Heavy operator investment out of both sides. And it looks like the Annihilator and the claw going to get shut down as Venturion breaks back in, but they've still got control of those top side spawns. Smokes as expected, making life nice and chaotic on the inside of P1 right here. And it's a big push coming through for a couple of these IQ players. It's Onur in the top side position, looking to find that final kill, but it looks like they've got the spawns locked down regardless.
It really is a matter of scrap time here. I think that is the most essential here in this apocalypse map, rather. And so far, it's going to be Panic majority getting a lot of those scrap times. And Venturion right now needs to have a solid break, especially knowing here in P2 rather, they were able to actually get that control here in Temple. So far, though, Panic is able to get that. And usually Capron is such a good anchor for the spot. And so far, he loses it this time around. But good thing that his teammate is right there for the backup. That's going to be Bouchon with the 30.
And Yaya looking to push out that pressure from the front side. The Sparrow just doesn't connect, and he gets a free 5 spree right there that should be enough to lock in the win. The push from the front side just going to be too difficult, and Flick going to drop off the Purifier as Panic takes map number 4. It looked a little bit shaky at times, but they lock in a spot in stage 4 as they will advance here from stage 3.
And this is what we expected from Panic. We did expect them to win, but obviously it was actually way closer than what we expected. And for Apocalypse right now, it seems like they're just so good when it comes to controlling those anchored spots. And obviously for me, that's going to be Capron. But Glitter, like, share us your thoughts. Like, this is a pretty interesting map that we expected to be a 3-0.
I mean, some nice pushback that we saw from Venturion there, not going down without a fight, and that's what we love to see. This is when you think about how many stages these teams have gone through, obviously we're at a point where we're just continuing to whittle down the best to the best of the best. So I'm happy that we kind of saw that pushback from Venturion as we take a look at these highlights, Bobby.
Yeah, it was very, very back and forth, and I think despite the fact that they were underdogs on every single map, Venturion did a phenomenal job. I think their anchoring, their fights for those spawns were really, really good. And had they maybe been able to capitalize a little bit more on the P4s where they had things locked down, we could be seeing a different result right now. But just a little bit too much gun skill. I think Yaya played a huge role in playing that roaming Slayer once again, getting things pushed out on the front side. And a couple gunfights go a different way. We could be looking at a map 5 with how up and down Panic has been today, and really over the past couple of days. Who knows? We could see a different team in stage 4, but all that matters is when you execute, and in this matchup, it was Panic.
And you got what you wanted, right, Bobby? Didn't you say you wanted it to go to the 4th map? So maybe you were more prophetic than you thought.
This is a map that I think a lot of teams would enjoy more if they practice it more, but it seems like kind of just a default ban every single time around. But this is one that I think more often than not, the more skilled team ends up coming out on top. So I would love to start to see some of these top seeds leaving Apocalypse hardpoint in the rotation. I think especially when we've seen so much Arsenal hardpoint gameplay, and that's one where the spawns are just anything can possibly happen. So I think that as far as hardpoint goes, Arsenal definitely the better option. I hope to see it more in the map pool as we head into stage 4.
Well, we've got one more match left on the day. You'll see Panic, Zidium, and Animus being 3 out of the 4 remaining teams qualified through to the challenge phase today. One more matchup to get that last team locked in for the next stage for the entire summer of Call of Duty Mobile action. It's going to be really, really fun. But before we get into that last match, we're going to take it to another quick break. Do not go anywhere because you don't want to miss how this ends. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the place where dreams come true. Where everything you want can be yours. If and only if you're willing to work for them. You're willing to hurt for them. But most of all, you're willing to be first for them. Ha! Look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop, like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting, it's hot. Look what I got, whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success is insane. Stay out my lane.
Welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series, where we just watched as Panic took out Venturion in 3-1 fashion to claim the 7th overall spot in the next stage of the competition, which means that now it is time for us to start getting into the final Open Finals matchup between Mont and Team Mobility. GG, Mommy, what can we expect from these two teams?
I'm excited. This is a matchup that we kind of expected to go the distance because of how well matched I think they're going to be. I feel like for Mont, when it comes to them, they had a difficult time, obviously, because they went up against the #1 EU team, but they did give them a hard time in that S&D. And so I'm expecting for players like Jace and Patron to actually spearhead their team into victory because they did have 13 and 12 up against a top team from EU.
Okay. Well, talking about their players, let's jump into the Mont roster first, Bobby. Anything else you want to say on them?
I can't hear Bobby.
Jace was definitely an impactful player for them, no question. I think looking at the roster, they definitely have talent. I think that you need to see some improvement whenever it comes to the respawns, but for sure they looked very, very solid, and obviously they've got a much easier opponent than they did last time around. So this is more than able to go the distance. I'm anticipating that we probably still see Team Mobility come out on top, but we've yet to see how they're looking in stage 3 so far. So this is really their opening performance.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. When we take a look at Team Mobility's roster, a squad we haven't gotten to watch yet, Mommy, what do you want to say about them?
For me, I really like this team right now because they are kind of homegrown from Enigma. We also see people from Activision as well. And I'm looking at Mar. He did come from Enigma and Prometheus. So again, it's going to be names that you know that always are thrown into the mix when it comes to EU teams. So I'm excited to see how this team chemistry actually comes through because I feel like comparing to what we have from Mont, I feel like Team Mobility might have a little bit more of an edge when it comes to the team composition because they've been playing with each other for a long time already.
Okay, so it's all about the team chemistry now. Is this potentially the closest matchup that we see all day, Bobby, as we wait for those picks and bans to pop up below on the screen?
I think so. I think the two match up well against each other. Obviously, there's a lot of talent on Team Mobility, but not quite as much experience as we've seen from some of those other European rosters. And would you look at that? We get Apocalypse Hardpoint to start things off again. And a good sign for Mont as we have Express Search and Destroy for map number 2. So it definitely looks like it's going to shape up to be an interesting series.
Anything else jumping out at you, Mommy?
Man, I'm just so happy to see Apocalypse right there. And I mean, the map selection today has been absolutely prime. I don't see any kind of map that we didn't get to see in stage number 5. Everything's new. Everything is fresh. Got Takeoff, Express, Meltdown, and Crossroads Strike. You already know I'm looking forward to that Crossroads because it can get very chaotic there, especially the up and catwalk.
So is this one maybe an all 5 situation, Bobby, or like a 3-1? Are we going to go to 4? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking at least 3-1. I think Mont take the search and destroy. I think if they're really firing on all cylinders, then maybe we go to 5. And if we go to 5, I think Mont takes the series. But I think it's really going to hinge on the control as usual. That's going to be the flip mode. So if Mont can find a way to take that one, I think they can take the series.
I saw you nodding there, Mommy. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I agree on levels. You do not want Mont to see them in game number 5 because the type of game that they played, especially up against Kings yesterday, it was so close. Kings almost lost that search and destroy. So again, I feel like it's going to be map number 1 is probably going to Team Mobility. Map number 2, I'm getting into detail here. Mont is going to be taking that S&D. And I feel like the control is going to be that swing mode that I'm really excited to see.
I like it. I like it, how specific we're getting, because match number 3, the final match of the day, is ready to go. It is right around the corner. Let's get into it.
All right. Well, looking very familiar right now as it is going to be Mont actually on the strong side to get things started right here. So should look to make that work to their advantage. Team Mobility on the flip side got some big things ahead as Mare just barely misses out on that opening kill. It is Team Mobility with first entry into the hard point, but it is absolute chaos on the inside as Seku can win those crucial gunfights to lock in some early time. Obviously, if you are starting on that bottom side, it's going to be tough to flip those top side spawns. You want to be able to get as much of that early hard point time as possible. Jay going to push down, trying to keep things contested, but for right now, Team Mobility doing a fantastic job given the side that they started with.
Yeah, you mentioned it already. Actually, when it comes to the spawns right now, Team Mobility have a better chance at defending onto that top side of the map for P1, but they also have to worry about that rotation into P2 as well, because you would want to have where Mont was actually spawning off a while ago. And so Team Mobility taking a lot of the points down so far. Mont trying to go in for the contest so far. They're winning a lot of the gunfights into the second half of the game, but obviously we do get to see Daytel finally stepping it up and Fahim as well. But we do get to see that early rotation already from Mont and having the spawn to their advantage. This fight going in from player number 2 from Mont is going to be absolutely crucial, but he loses it. Fahim goes down, and that actually allows 3 players coming from Team Mobility to get that, and they do get the spawns finally back here in Temple. What the heck happened?
Somehow Jace spawned right outside Temple with a player inside and Seku, so the spawns still stay in control of Team Mont right here as they're gonna finally find a way to win those later gunfights. Fahim doesn't realize there's a player right below. Ayuk able to find one before dropping right here, but it is Mont staying in control. Seku trying to see if he can find a one-man push, but shut down by Zeze. And right now, it is Mont taking the lead in this one. Couple more beams to lock in some hard point time, and HBC trying to get pushed up. Oh, Team Mobility licking their wounds, gonna have to head on over to P3 and try to get a solid setup right here, but goes up top's gonna hit a couple of beams, and that's gonna leave P3 wide open.
Oh, that's going to be absolutely open for the taking for any of these teams, actually. And Mont so far does have a solid rotation here. Player number 3, though, can do a backstab. So far, they're actually right there for the pinch. Unfortunately, Sekou actually goes down. And so far, it's going to be so good for Mont as the one player is left here. That's going to be ZZ, and that is the one player that you want. So far, he's been shredding it out. 12 kills to his name, the most out of anyone here so far.
And even with Team Mobility getting the hard point time right here, oh, the spawn's flipped, and that could be big for them. They send one player through and they get that final kill, so they're set up nicely over toward the next hard point. But now it's Mont flooding in through the front side and maintaining control here on P3. Jay gonna be on a 2 spree, and it seems like Team Mobility just struggling to win gunfights right now, as across the board they have not looked all that solid. Jay wins another big one on the inside of the OBJ, and Mont setting up what's going to be 60 points as we head on over toward P4. Team Mobility does have the setup for the spawns, but you got one player in Zeze in good position to try to break. Mari's going to be able to shut him down, so they're in a solid spot right here as they look to find a full 60 on P4. Daytel gets shut down and goes trying to push from the top side. Is going to be easy to deal with. Zeze trying to make his way on through to see if they can hit a little bit of a side flank here.
Gorilla Base going to be in control by Team Mobility right now, and Mars is doing a phenomenal job at anchoring the spot. And so far, though, even though they did have that, the break finally pushes through with 40 seconds, still a lot of time. And we can see that Mont's going to be in a little bit of a pinch as they're just spawning in every single angle. What a really peculiar way to actually get back P4, as they do spawn off into near temple area. And I mean, back gold is going to be an interesting spawn point, and honestly for Mont, I feel like it's just they didn't really have the anchoring spot, and so far we do get to see the lead slowly dwindle.
And this has been so unusual because you saw the Mont player spawn behind Etsy even when he was anchoring, but it formed like a natural pinch with the Team Mobility players spawning up top temple to be able to get those kills in an unexpected position. So it really turns into a 50-50 hard point. Ayuk hitting some beams with the CBR in hand, and that's a lot of yellow in the feed, setting up for another opportunity for Team Mobility to have a solid P1. But most important thing is flipping those spawns, and right now there are a couple Mont players pushed up in the top side with an opportunity to flip, and they do exactly that.
And now we do get to see that Mont is going to be in the spawn there that they favored, especially. It's kind of like a mirror of what we saw a while ago, and so far they're kind of having a hard time here in P1, and it's honestly going to be telling because a while ago they did also struggle with that P1 control. Jay a big gunfight to be won, and unfortunately everyone else on Team Mobility is going to be in a really good spot, the anchoring points, and so far so good though. But Fahim and Daytel going to be a really big duo right now to actually flush out a lot of the players coming in from P1, is able to still get that, and Zeze going to be a solo hold right now. He's in a really good position to go in there for the contest as well.
I don't know how he doesn't get spotted out right there, but able to be a nuisance and avoid giving a full 62 Team Mobility. They're still spawning all the way across the map. A lot of guns they got to go through to make their way on over to P2 right here. Go is going to be able to find 2 with the Hunter Killer right there. Gets stuck in his tracks though, and does get shut down, but as long as you got that Sparrow up in temple, it is going to be a nightmare for these Team Mobility players. Fahim, a couple missed shots that he wishes he could have back right there, and the pressure's starting to get a little bit more pushed forward, but time and time again Mont has had the better of the gunfights, but Sekou pushes through, able to win one right there, and one player there left to reinforce, but not able to get the gunfight win, but they spawned there regardless. Very good positioning for Team Mobility right here, and an opportunity, but it's so late in the clock you gotta wonder whether or not it's worth it to get those spawns locked in. Right now they're getting the scrap time, but only about 15 seconds left to be gained.
I mean, those are 15 essential seconds that will definitely give you more of an upper hand in closing down the gap between Mont and Team Mobility right now. And so far, every single time the Team Mobility actually goes in there for that push into this area of the temple, they always actually win it. And a while ago, it was just the matter of Jayce actually spawning right beside them that was a detriment to that P2 push. But now it looks like they definitely worked it out this time around. And so far, it's actually Mont that usually gets a lot of the majority of the points here in P3. So far, the player number 5 going to be a huge member right now from Team Mobility. And as IU gets that 22k, still not able to flush it down as everyone else from Mon is going to be right there for the backup. An essential gunfight being won by Fahim and takes out Sekou. Everyone else from Team Mobility needs to go and catch up and needs to find some sort of answer when it comes to this P3.
And they're just getting absolutely torched on those rotations. No map control, just basically blindly pushing across a wide open field and making it easy for Mont to farm the kills and lock in the hardpoint time. Jayce is going to be there for the trades as well. And Mont now sit up 80 points as we get ready to head on over to P4. And it looks like they're going to be spawning in the back. Team Mobility doesn't leave anybody back there to anchor. And once again, things go terribly wrong. Is Daytel going to be able to shut down 2? He pushes right on into the hard point, and it's Mont up 100 points and looking well on their way to a map 1 win.
Mont keeps surprising us, man. They're just so good right now, in a really good position to take this hard point. Gets the spawns, but for Team Mobility, they do have that adjustment, takes it back. And so far, Mont actually has a difficult time every time here in this hill, and ZZ tries to go in there for the opener. Unfortunately, doesn't really quite get that sustainability of especially having that SMG, knowing very well you're going up against Team Mobility with those headies and the long-range engagements being won. Fahim, though, tries to apply that pressure here, but they're just not getting the points, and this is where Team Mobility actually shines here in P4.
And Jayce is going to be able to hop up and sneak through, so should be able to spot out some of these Team Mobility players. They've been able to close the gap from about 100 all the way down to 70 right here, but they get absolutely slid on as Daytel finds his way back in to pick up scraps. And that's all they really need for the rest of the way through with the lead that they've built. Team Mobility needs to play this perfectly, and right now they do not have those spawns locked down, so even if they find a full 60, they're going to be in a rough spot as they head on over toward P2. And Daytel doing a phenomenal job of clearing out those hardpoint kills. May not have the most kills on the squad, but they have definitely been high impact for his team. Fahim leading the way with 36, but he's had maybe the easier task of sitting in the high ground and just absolutely beaming players off rotation. Mont continue to move upward, even with those topside spawns, and they have been dominant so far in this one.
Oh my gosh, Zeze is an absolute menace in this hill. He's just so good at clearing it out in such open spaces, and so far, Mont is so close to winning this hard point. Team Mobility nowhere to be found, and now we do get to see Mont streaked out. Purifier in hand as well. Zeze still on a streak. And there you go, 250 and 172, and just like that, our predictions out the window, and I love to say that. I mean, this is the reason why you love Apocalypse so much, is because you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and through and through, Mont just looked like the better team on every single turn. Like, they had the spawns locked down at every point. They had some solid breaks the couple times that it looked like Team Mobility knew what they were doing, but they just really, really struggled in this one, and seemed like they were playing catch up the majority of the time. Really allowed the ARs for Mont to shine and just farm those kills, as there was no real map control for Team Mobility. They get picked apart, and they're now heading in to an Express S&D where Mont looked very, very solid up against Kings yesterday.
But taking a look at this hardpoint matchup, I mean, there's also signs of life from Team Mobility. It just seems like the adjustment from Mont just came through, because I think it was that second P2 where they were able to get that temple spawn was definitely going to be a really huge game changer. But for Mobility, they did get the first and third P2. They're so good at P4 and also getting that red spawn. But when it comes to those open hardpoints where you actually think that it's going to be contested by both of these teams, that's where Mont actually shines, and that's really scary, because you're supposed to be winning a lot of these gunfights down, but looking like the likes of ZZ can definitely ruin that for you.
Yeah, no question. They did not have much of an answer heading into the Express S&D. We'll see if they find ways to throw different looks, and maybe this is a team mobility team that is better in the search and destroy than they are in the hardpoint. That is absolutely a possibility. This is our first time really seeing them in stage 3 so far, so we can't really have too many expectations. All we can go off of is what we've seen out of Mont, and we know that they look good on this Express search and destroy. We'll expect that to continue. Obviously, ZZ had a big impact with the Locust in hand yesterday, and especially with these longer angles over on A, anticipate that he'll play a big role, but no type of pressure over here toward the B side as Team Mobility gonna full send it on into A.
Here we go. Trying to get that information down, though, so they're still not committing quite yet. And we do get to see the players from Mont. Still gonna apply that B pressure, though. Although we do get to see player number 5, Daytel, possibility to get that player that's going to be Etsy with a sniper. But they are going to be getting him. Speaking of, Etsy does get that opening pick. An ability for Daytel to actually get that kill as well. And another player from Mont goes down. So far, a really good start from Team Mobility, and just getting that information, playing passive at first, is definitely going to be great at them.
The smokes go out. Daytel looking for the hop up right here. Beams onto HBC, making a 2-piece. Does get traded out by Mar. ZZ moving and grooving into the train area with the Rytek in hand, but Sekou is going to be able to take him down. And now all down to Fahim. Players push way back for Team Mobility. Get some information on the run, but Etsy on the top side going to be able to shut him down. And a much needed round 1 going through for Team Mobility right here. So we know they know what they're doing here in the Express search and destroy. Etsy picks up a couple early. We'll see what type of adjustments we can find out of Mont, as it looks like it's going to be a very similar approach for Team Mobility. Once again, one player there to watch the flank, and everybody else full sends it on into A. Jay tries to hop up top, but immediately shut down. But Ayuk takes himself out. I'm not really sure with what. Maybe we had the train come through once again.
Another train kill, possibly?
I'm not seeing the map shake, so I assume it's not the train, but I don't know what else it could have been.
Maybe it was a nade and there was like a trophy system right there. No, it would have shown it was a trophy system kill, but maybe it bounced off somewhere. But here we go. And this really detrimental accident coming in from Team Mobility. They did have the momentum there, especially with HBC with that first pick. And now they're going to be going around, going to be greeted by one player, ZZ. But they need to be careful because this flank watch is definitely someone that you do not want to mess with, but they do have the numbers advantage for them.
Right now, Mari should be able to spot out ZZ. Does exactly that. And now into the 2v2, sitting at the back of the map. But bomb does have to be retrieved by Team Mobility right here. They're going to sit back and hope these snipers can find an additional pick to make that push a little bit easier. Inside of the train car is going to be the positioning for Mont. And right now it's Daytel that you've got to deal with if you're Etsy. Going to take the high ground here instead, takes him down, and now into the 1v2 for Fahim.
Now you're in a really good spot to get these. But Etsy it again, goes in for the kill, gets 2, and my goodness. I mean, I was going to say that Mont actually had more of an advantage getting those SMGs down and locking in those corners, but it doesn't really matter as Mobility is going in there for the snipes. They're so good when it comes to their snipers. They do have 2 at the moment, and so far, Etsy having that 3 and Mar having that 5, and you already know that their snipers are doing such an amazing job, and so far ZZ is gonna have 0. That's gonna have a really huge effect on this team right now.
Yep. Bomb in hand, 5v5, yet to find a first blood. Ayuk gonna play the inside of the train and wait for a push out of Mont, but Etsy has been so crucial with the sniper in hand. Wants to re-peek it. Maybe an ill-advised one right there, but he's able to get away with this life and the quick scope out of ZZ, but he gets traded instantaneously. Down to Fahim and goes. A couple more kills come through, and now it's a 1v3. Would in total be a 1v4 for Fahim, and somehow Sekou not able to make him pay for all those missed shots. Trying to clutch up here to give Mont their first round here in the Express search and destroy, and doesn't look like they're checking the right angle. This flank could be perfectly timed. We'll see if Team Mobility makes the read on him, as he's been able to escape perfectly.
He does have the LK24 in hand, so that's going to be huge for him. Mar, though, spots him. Re-peeks, gets that headshot really good right now and on point. And so Fahim with a 4 has enough time to go into reposition himself. 30 seconds left on the clock, and that's going to be huge for Team Mobility right now. Needs to find a way to go around the map or just decide where you're going to go, because so far Ayuk is in a really bad position right now. They're just going around with each other. Fahim's going to be playing time. 21 seconds left on the clock, and this is actually going to be really huge for him, and Fahim is actually playing time to his advantage. Oh, it's the train. The train's shaking. So honestly, I feel like that kill a while ago wasn't the train because it wasn't shaking.
Yup. Ayuk trying to avoid the 1v4. Fahim does not read this correctly, but neither player has any idea where the other is, and Fahim making his way back up the stairs. This is a big moment in this one. Ayuk just checking those side angles, but no timing for Fahim. The 1v4 is not meant to be in Team Mobility. Still find a way to sneak out the round.
Seems like with Mobility, their snipers are just doing a phenomenal job at creating that space, and not just that, everyone else is actually going in there. Once that information is given, they will push the site. Fahim, though, pre-fires here through mid. Again, they're not going into that alpha flag. I mean, you're already getting that information down that Team Mobility likes to go into alpha, and maybe this mid pressure is going to be huge for them. And in the past round, I feel like one of them just over-pushed, and I think that was Daytel and Jace. So far, still a stalemate. Bomb not going to be planted quite yet, as we do get to see Team Mobility have a lot of the angles covered, especially an essential player, that's Mar, trying to go in for that flank watch.
Well, the shoulder is thrown, but they don't make the read onto Daytel, and that's a free 2-piece for him. No trade here either. And now no high ground control as the bomb does go down right here. Fahim finds one on the flank. Mari's going to drop, and now down to the 2 remaining players for Team Mobility. Daytel does get taken down to make the push a little bit easier, but the bigger task, getting that bomb down somewhere, and that is important information for Mont, especially with HBC getting climbed up into the top side. He's not going to be able to convert on that kill.
Mont having the numbers advantage, but Ayuk is going to be right there, sliding past, getting that kill, evens things out in a really good spot, but bomb still has to be planted, and now they're going to be sticking together as a team. Now it looks like the information is down. They want to go in for that full wraparound, and Mont has no idea whatsoever. They are going to go through into this channel, into the bridge, overpass all the way into Bravo, and that's going to be the best situation to actually have right now.
Bomb's going to go down. Mont looking lost. They have no clue, and they're going to have to wait for the train as well. I don't know what Ayuk is waiting on right there. Could have had an extra couple seconds for an advantage. It's going to be Mont trying to clutch up. Fahim finds the opener, now into the 1v2. HBC, Nate goes up top, doesn't realize there's a player on the flank. This should be a locked-in round for Mont, as Zay is going to be right there. Perfect position to take the trade, and Mont finally finds their first round here in the Express Search and Destroy.
Good pinch coming in from Mont, applying that pressure into Staircase, and also giving just that one player going through Arrival. So that's going to be huge for them, and very close to actually clutching up. The Team Mobility almost clutched it up if the timing was right. I feel like if that one player was late here in Arrivals to go in there for the backup, it could have been really possible to get that 1v2, but here we are, and finally Mont does have that point down. Different approach, though, coming in from TMGG, as Mar does get that kill. Etsy as well. The snipers here in Mobility doing the work. They tell possibility to get that first pick for his team. Does get that information. But also, everyone else needs to go and step it up.
Well, the snipers have been farming for Team Mobility. 14 kills between Mari and Etsy. Zay is going to be able to slide through as he takes down HBC, and into the 3v3 we go. Bomb is in the hands of Ayuk for Team Mobility. Right now, Daytel, bobbing and weaving, trying to clear out one more of these Team Mobility players, and I think Ayuk should have the information. Does he check the corner? It seems like he knows. One of them has to know. Ayuk is right in this corner. Should be the opportunity for the free kill, but Ayuk slides through and gets the kill anyway. Zay gonna be there for the trade, but doesn't see the player up in the top side. That's going to be Etsy with the sniper in hand, and goes with the ballsy ego chow right there. He's going to opt instead to back up. The bomb is down over on that A side, but should be pretty retrievable for Team Mobility. But this is a big wrap by Goes. Might be able to catch Etsy off guard.
They have the bomb.
Speaking of, information doesn't quite go through, and that's going to be timing into the favor of Goes right now. But then he's going to be stretched out. He's going to be catched, and Mar goes in there with perfect timing. Just like a game of cat and mouse, and that was such a good response, a fast response coming in from Mar, where he could have actually just planted the bomb into Alpha, knowing very well that Etsy went down, but instead went in there for the kill instead. So that's still going to be impressive, and Mott seem to be like they're struggling up against Team Mobility right now.
And Jayce has got to get going. One of the crucial factors for this team, and he is sitting on a goose egg right now. Fahim going to find the opener onto Ayuk. Goes. Not going to be able to get the better of that one. It is going to be more trades going the way of Mont as Fahim finds another right there. And Daytel finally able to pick up another kill. That's going to be now a 1v4 for Team Mobility. Etsy's been phenomenal so far, but 1v4 might not be in the cards, but the 1v2 is already started, and around the corner with the switchblade, now there's only one player remaining. Zay trying to avoid disaster is Etsy, now sitting on 11 kills, and he's got the bomb in hand to dictate the pace of the rest of the round.
Yo, this guy's cracked. My goodness, he was just on point. The rhythm is there for his favor. And now Azizi's trying to go in for the big wraparound. It looks like they're going to be meeting each other. Azizi needs to go in pre-fire. Oh, he does have that kill, though. And speaking of, the flick comes through. And a hero play coming in from ZZ is just absolutely essential as we're finally switching sides. Mott on the attack. Team Mobility right now on the defense. And let's see how Etsy can try to stop the push down. But you already know that Mott will have an easier time here when it comes to the attack. A really good push, 5-man aggressive push from Mott right now into the B side.
Man, so many almost 1v4s today, but just no conversion. Go's gonna open up, drops Etsy off the start, and woof. Mott looking hot here on the offensive side. Fahim trying to find one, but he can't find HBC. All down to Ayuk, looking for the 1v2. Bomb is gonna go down right here, but I don't know how they don't have any idea where he is. And the bomb does not actually end up getting planted as Ayuk has another opportunity to clutch.
They were planting the bomb standing up. I mean, just no cover whatsoever. You'd expect that your teammate's actually there for the trade, but unfortunately not. Ayuk with the 6 kills, and now it's a 1v1 yet again, even though Mon had so much advantage already, and we've seen this so much within the Search and Destroy Express. Now they're just both getting that information down as you're trying to look at the bomb. They're just going around each other here on the B side, but obviously the bomb's going to be going down. Ayuk in a really good spot right now, but Goes gets the better of him. It gets that kill, and essentially a pretty rocky attacking start from Mont right now.
Pretty rocky, but they've taken both rounds, or I guess the only round here on the offensive side, but it's back-to-back rounds for them as they now bring things closer. Fahim on 10. Jayce still looking to find that first kill, and a couple snipes that looked like they should have hit from both sides. And it looks like nobody gonna get punished for it as Etsy finally comes through, dropped the sniper, picked up the cordite, or not the cordite, the CBR, good lord. I don't know what was happening in my brain right there, but the bomb's gonna go down here. And it looks like in the 2v3, Mott not in a good spot, and Fahim has had to carry a bulk of the load, but not gonna be quite enough to have a chance right there. It is going to be Team Mobility finding the defuse and extending their lead once again.
Well, I feel like you're saying what you want to happen here for the meta in Call of Duty Mobile. I've been wanting the cordite to be back in, but unfortunately not. It's honestly one of my
cordite meta was terrible.
It was very terrible.
It was one of the worst metas we've ever had. Oh my gosh, that thing could hip fire at 10 meters and had more range than an AR. Goodness gracious.
But that skin was so pretty though. You got the satellite roaming around the gun. So, but there you go. I mean, that's going to be a huge win coming in from Team Mobility, finally adjusting into whatever strategy that Mont actually had. And so far, we do get to see Team Mobility still having that man advantage, and that push into B is definitely something that they're adapting to.
Bomb has been planted.
Ooh, Etsy can't make them pay right there. That would have been a nice snipe to have, but the bomb does go down on the B side once again. Very, very opposite strategies for the two teams. One full stop, or full sending A every single time. The other on the opposite side. Ayuk, an opportunity to clutch up once again. This always seems to be the last man standing 1v3 opportunity for him, trying to clear out these corners, but there are too many angles to check. And Fahim with the LK going to shut him down to bring things back to 1 round apart.
This is where we did get to see Mon kind of struggled in the previous matchup that they had against Kings when they started on the defensive side. That's where they struggled. And it's going to be the same case right now from Team Mobility, where Etsy's actually slowing down significantly. Now the B push yet again being met by 4 players right now from Team Mobility.
If Jay holds on to this donut much longer, we're going to have to get him a Krispy Kreme application. My guy just looks lost on the map right now, and Mont is cooking all down to Ayuk. Once again, it's this way every single time, it seems, and teammates putting you in a 1v3. It just can't be fun. All the pressure, and Jay's just trying to build some momentum for himself. I don't know if he fell asleep, what happened, but right now Ayuk, not a whole lot of time to work with, gives away his location with that spray, and there we go. No more donut for Jay. We moved on to the breadstick.
Yeah. I mean, that's something surprising for me because in the last match that they had up against a really strong team, he had 12 kills. So I don't know where this breadstick is coming from and looking like the inconsistency is actually showing for this Mon team. And right now, Team Mobility full sending into mid and into alpha. And Mon is still doing the same thing. Hey, if it ain't broken, don't need to fix it. And so right now, for Mon doing the same case, and we do get to see player number 3 goes, trying to go in there really deep. And Mar does get that kill, though. Jace goes down. Unfortunately, won't be able to get another kill here this round.
Team Mobility finally gets the man advantage here on the defensive side. Daytel trying to get some information. Goes, finds the opener. I think we may have heard a push from Sekou, but I don't know if he realizes. But Team Mobility clean up a couple of those big kills, and now all down to Zeze. Don't know if he's going to be in a spot to clear the bomb, and he's going to get spotted from multiple angles. Team Mobility handle that one easily. And now only one more round needed to move on and tie up the series at 1-1. Mont have an opportunity here to force overtime.
I mean, so far we thought that Mont is going to be winning the S&D and Team Mobility is going to be winning that hard point, but now it's going to be switching around as both of these teams are just surprising us right now. Psycho, though, trying to go in for that mid control, gets that bomb down to get that information. Mar, on the other hand, trying to control here into train track. So far, no information yet whatsoever as the smoke is being played right now. And so far, I think this is the first smoke that we've seen Mont actually pop here through mid.
Yep. Bombs down. You've got to move quickly if you're Team Mobility, but not in a great spot. Down this many players. Jayce is going to be able to find a trade there. Ayuk taken down quickly. I swear he is the last player left alive for Team Mobility every single round. Maybe they need him to play with the rest of the squad a little bit more, because it seems like he's been on an island by himself every single round. And that's going to be enough for Mont to force overtime right here. Etsy leading the way with 14 kills, but honestly has slowed down a little bit. And Jayce, already made his way from 0 up to 3. I would say he's heating up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be impressive. I mean, Zeze just is so impressive right now for his team. Getting a lot of these kills down. Fahim going to be getting a lot of those, essential kills for his team right now. And Ghost being that player that is actually really surprising as well. Oh my gosh, Zeze yet again. Etsy, though, gets Jayce. It's still a 1v3, but Bomb is going to be in a difficult spot. But we've seen Etsy do the God's work here in this side. When Bomb was down, was the hero play for that particular round. Now 15 to his name. That's going to be huge. Tries to go in for the flank. The information does go down. That's the last of his util. The last what kind of information he can use. But he does have to worry about that one player, which goes right on the back end of the map.
I thought he saw the one Mont player up in that top building. He did. That's going to be a nice two-piece right there, and now moving into a 1v1. The bomb is down right now, but he's on the defending... Or wait, no. No, we're in overtime. I think he's on the offensive side. Sniper comes back out. Doesn't spot out. Goes right there. Looking for the hop-up, but it just did not want to cooperate, and he is going to be able to pick up the bomb here. Only 30 seconds left. That should be crucial information for Mont. It goes, should have been spotted around the corner, but Etsy didn't realize. And now it's Mont taking the round and an opportunity for them with back-to-back rounds to shut this one down and move up to a 2-0 lead.
Wow, that was such a good recovery coming in from Mont. Even though they had such a big struggle going into the defense, they're now ending things possibly on the attacking round where they got majority of their kills down and majority of the wins. And now they do the same thing, the classic Bravo push. And so far, going in there really aggressively, ZZ gets that one kill but does get traded out. It's the numbers advantage to team mobility right now, but Fahim even things out. And now for the both of these teams, we do get to see Mon having the man advantage, and they're going to try to go in there for the pinch as play number 5 will try to stop the plan, and there you go, stops it. Fahim goes down, and they're just so good at stopping the plan right now. Daytel will try to go in there for the kill. Does get that 1v2 situation into the favor right now of Mont, but if it's going to be that one player that can clutch this up, it'll be Etsy.
No trigger discipline right there. Gives them the information, but they're still going to opt to play anyway, and Daytel peeks the corner, and Mont with 3 straight rounds coming off the deficit. Still find a way to clutch up in the search and destroy. It looked dicey at so many points, but they find a way to lock in the win, and it looks like they may be the ones on their way to a 3-0 victory.
This is just so surprising, and I'm glad to see it. We kind of expected Mont to win that Express. Again, it was kind of hard for them in the beginning, but able to find their footing. Obviously, Fahim was leading the way for his team, even though JC was actually struggling to get those kills, and with the sniper in hand as well in the beginning, he did switch when it comes to those guns, and essentially they got it. And you just don't want to leave Mont into the attacking round, which majority of the time they did. And when we found out that over time they did get that last attacking round, that was like, okay, that's GG. So they do so well when it comes to the attack that it's basically foolproof.
Yeah, just so many opportunities to clutch that team mobility was not able to close out on. A lot of it coming down to timing, but whew, it felt like every single time Team Mobility was putting one of their players in a really tough spot, whether it was Etsy, just nonstop 1v3s, 1v2s to leave to try to clutch up, and it's not something that's going to be sustainable regardless of the lead that you've been able to build. So they got to bounce back here in the control, usually the swing mode, but when you drop 2 maps off the start, it's really the salvation mode for them as they are trying to make their way into stage 4, and it's not looking good right now.
Definitely, they're going to be backed up in the corner, and this is where you can turn things around because Team Mobility has the opportunity to get this control. Like what we mentioned, this is going to be that swing round, and Mont did struggle a fair lot up against Kings in Raid, did get 0-3'd, and let's see who's going to step it up because right now we do get to see Jace kind of struggle when it comes to that S&D, barely getting a lot of these kills, but was able to fire himself up in that last half. But he was the key player in control with 14 kills, the most out of his team. So let's see if he can if he's able to actually pull out of that hole that he put himself in S&D and get all of these kills down here in control.
And we do see Mont starting on the offensive side, but Crossroads Strike is one of the few maps that I do feel like, if you know how to play it right, can actually be an offensive-sided map. With that being said, it's 3 kills off the start for Team Mobility. That life lead disappears fast, just like that. We're tied up, and Goes has been able to push up all the way into this mid-building. No map control for Team Mobility right now, and a spawn trap could be ensuing right here as Seku's finally able to get things cleared, but it is going to be Mont with Daytel on the objective, starting to lock in some of this time.
Important gunfight trying to be won right now here in Catwalk, and Zay actually gets the win. That's going to be essential kills for them, and now he's going to be pushed up, and now we do get to see Zay go in there pretty deep into that spawn, but I mean, fortunately for Team Mobility, they were able to take him out early on, but one other person is going to be right there. Daytel still needing to have that first kill with Switchblade in hand, and so far he did struggle the most into their last game in Raid with just 6 kills, so let's see he's able to utilize that positioning that he had.
HBC gets turned on right there. Mare trying to clear out the hard point, but doing that with a deagle is not an easy task. Mont get the objective captured, and they're able to keep the lives even right here as they start to get pushed up, applying that pressure on the spawns. In a rough spot for Team Mobility. They need to get some of this mid-map control pushed out. Ayuk spraying, but not able to connect right there. And Etsy can't hit the final bullet either. Multiple gunfights that should have been easily winnable. And just like that, Mont find themselves up in lives.
There you go, and we get to see that JC is going to be in a really good spot, but he does get taken down by Etsy right now, and that's going to be huge kills from both of these snipers. Mar as well gets that, and so we're tied, and with 1 minute on the clock, that's a lot of time from Team Mobility to go and defend, and for Mont, you need to find a way to get that control down, because you have to get rid of that one player looking at that Bravo flag. That's going to be Mar with that 6 kills already. And so far, they actually don't have any smokes to play with, and that's the one essential thing that they need to have here. But Team Mobility is actually running out of lives. 5 and 6, still very doable for Mobility to try and win this defensive side.
And with no success getting over toward that B side, if you're Mont, you're pretty content to play TDM right there, but goes COD timing. He gets taken down off of that one, and Mont starting to lose those lives, but Zay goes big. 2 straight kills onto Team Mobility, trades by Ayuk, and just like that, we're into the 3v3. Advantage going the direction of Mont. Jay trying to sniff out the one player on the inside is going to be Sekou, and Ghost takes him down, leaving everything down to Ayuk. He gets shut down, and Mont take round number 1.
And they did that on the attacking round. One more on the defense. I'm so curious how they actually go in for this defensive side. And Catwalk is definitely going to be a huge place to win a gunfight, because that gives you access all the way into a tank room where you can definitely try to spawn trap. And so far, Mont loses that gunfight. ZZ goes down. Ayuk gets his 2nd kill, possibly to get a 3rd. Does get the 3rd one. And now with the help of his teammates are actually doing so much of the killing already early on. And you get to see Ayuk just absolutely waste that opportunity to actually use that operator skill. And he goes down early.
I believe should get the majority of the recharge time off that, but the trades just seem to be non-existent for Mont off the start of this one. Just a seamless triple for Ayuk with multiple players in position to trade. Zay gonna get taken down off of his Sparrow, and like you mentioned, the operator usage has not looked good at all, but Mont won a few of those crucial gunfights to keep the lives somewhat even in this one. Mari pulling out the sniper, looking to respawn snipe. DLQ, not a very fast-paced one to work with, though. Big feeds coming through for Team Mobility, and with that full clear, they should have an opportunity to get some progress here onto A.
Here we go. Mine is actually winning a lot of the gunfights, like outside and in the outskirts, actually. And actually, player number 4 coming in from their side, JC, is gonna be in a really good spot to defend that alpha push. And as we said that, though, he does leave that spot, and unfortunately, timing not going to be in their way, as Ayuk is just absolutely shredding right now. Fahim, on the other hand, LK24 again in hand, just wins this essential gunfight into mid, and Ayuk still a little bit too good right now, and looks like the momentum's going to be on his side.
8 lives to 12 right now. Pred doesn't connect for Mari. Once again, a little bit surprised at that use right there. You're in a really good spot. You're in control of the map. Why not save that for a rougher position? But goes, fires back. Couple of big kills right there. The round is not over yet, and Daytel finds one there too. Now into the 3v9, but with the amount of kills they've gotten with so few lives, this one's not over yet. If you're Team Mobility, you just want to get players onto that objective and try to bait out the rest of the Mont players. Just like that, it's all down to goes, and he gets spotted out as Team Mobility fire back with a round of their own.
All right, looking like the attacking round is a little bit more easier for both of these teams at the moment. And so far, no solid spawn trap that we've seen from both of these teams here. And now that Mod's going to be on the attacking side yet again, it's pretty close every single time. And so it's just really who is going to be getting that last nail in the coffin. But HBC goes in strong with this first opening picks, gets 3 already right off the bat. And that's going to be huge for them. Now they're going to be getting a lot of the operators down, but Etsy also brings out the claw as well, gets that kill, and there you go. That's gonna be huge. Mark gets that beautiful double, and this changes the tide right now from Team Mobility with the 26 already compared to the 19 of Mont.
That is a huge early spawn trap. Jace does get pushed up, but once again with the switchblade in hand, he's not going to be in much of a position to find any kills. And Sekou on the inside of those mid buildings, you'll be able to find a nice double. Jace finally fires back, but Zay gonna drop. Jace gonna drop. Daytel gonna drop, and just like that, Team Mobility find themselves up 6 lives. And right now, the bigger issue at hand for Mont, they have no time and no objective control. Now down 8 lives. You're trying not to feed streaks and operators, but there's only so much you can do if you want to have a chance on this offensive side. Finally, ZZ going to be able to win one to get a player onto that B objective, but IU's still lurking on the backside, and that's going to be more free kills for Team Mobility.
And the fact that for Mont right now, they don't have any answers whatsoever up against Mar. I mean, he's just getting so many free kills, and obviously they don't have a sniper to actually answer back or even any kind of smokes to play with. And that's what we mentioned a while ago, especially in that first round, is where are the smokes? So far, Marsh is doing a phenomenal job. 23 is going to be the scoreline, 11 and 3. And with just 2 ticks of progress, and Mont's going to be lost right now. Just 2 lives already. They're going to be spawned off like far away from each other. And Team Mobility just needs to stay put because there's just no attack whatsoever, no progress on that Bravo flag as well. Gets that kill though, but I mean, that's information given to Team Mobility, and the clock dwindles down. And now we are 1 away from Team Mobility. We're at match point for them to possibly turn things around, and a possibility for a reverse sweep is in order.
Well, it's looking like Mont having their first sign of struggle in this one. We're going to have ZZ pop in the claw right here. 3 other operators ready to go. Love the pacing for this, but we've yet to see ZZ actually make anything out of this claw. Still looking for one. Couple of body shots out of Team Mobility. They're still feeling good about their odds, and that ends up being pretty much a completely wasted claw, as Zeze gets 0 value out of that one. Still some operators to work with if you're Mont, but you got to get pushed up once again as we see Team Mobility starting to make some map control progress up toward this B zone.
And they are going to have pretty early control, especially Mar going with the Annihilator, but Daytel goes big with that kill and just eliminates that score streak, operator rather. And now for Mont, they are in a position as well to get all of these kills down. They do have 4 operators to play with. And now if they are going in for that defense, which they didn't win a while ago, this is a chance to actually go and possibly bring it out if they are having a hard time here on the defense.
Well, ZZ's in spawn trap position right now. We're going to be able to find one onto Mare and another onto Etsy, and doesn't get traded out right here. And now it's Mont looking to turn the tables as Zeze does finally get taken down, but there's a lot of operators at your disposal if you're Mont. Ghost does get dropped off the Annihilator. Fahim going to go ahead and pop this Sparrow, but yet to find a kill with that. And once again, it's been very much a story of wasted utility as Fahim taken down, and now Jay and Daytel, the only players with operators left. Yes, it looks like you've got enough of a life lead to be able to lock this one in and at least force a round 5, but a lot gone to waste right there, and Team Mobility have done a good job of waiting and saving what they've got right now. 2 operators on each side. It's round 5 that will determine the destiny of Team Mobility.
Here we go. And a while ago for Mont, they were able to win 1 attacking round. So both of these teams actually won 1 attacking and 1 defensive side. And now it's really up to how do you play your operators, how do you play your score streaks right now, because so far Mont was able to do that so perfectly a while ago. And unfortunately, Seiko is not able to get that kill and unfortunately takes himself out. Jay in a really bad spot, but that nade actually almost gets him. There you go, smoke's being played, and that's what we like to see coming in from Mont right now, as that mid push is actually going to be coming through as Mar wins that up against Zeze. And Mar actually opting to go in for that pistol kill as well, and so far we're just going to be so even when it comes to the lives. And the second tick of progress almost coming through from Team Mobility, but so far no one has any kind of control over the map.
It's the last 2 kills, make it 3, make it 4, make it 5 for Mont. They're starting to build a lead right here. They get a lot of players stacked here onto A as well, and they're starting to cook. It seems like panic setting in for Team Mobility. Nobody there to contest over on the A side, and you find yourself now down by 8 lives. Zeze up in the high ground, relaying information on where HBC is. You can't convert on that kill from the low ground, and the Purifier gonna get shut down, but still losing out on those lives. Now down 7 and a minute and 45 for Mont to work with right here. Ayuk's got to go huge. Can he find those kills in the spawn?
Oh my goodness, we got to see Fahim stepping it up, getting that pretty. Not just that, also information given. 15 and 4 is going to be your score line in your lives. Jace again stepping it up with 27 when he struggled so much in that search and destroy. Is so godly here in this control. A 2 and 13 is going to be your score. And IU gets that essential double. Fahim, though, with the operator in hand, gets taken out. That's going to be huge. It's actually possible for Etsy and IU to actually get this, but it's going to be huge for them. They still get these kills, and Mont is actually giving it away for free.
Somebody kill Ayuk. They finally take him off the purifier right there. Zay, you've got a claw and only one player left to kill. It looks like they should be able to get things locked in. They get 2 players on the objective, and Etsy just only so much one man can do with a Fennec from that range. It is going to be Mont not only taking the win when they might not have been favored, but doing it in 3-0 fashion.
Wow, and it's just really certain players that stepped it up today that just made the biggest difference, and we did not expect this to be a 3-0 here, Glitter. Our predictions out the door, out the window.
You know, this was fun, though, because it was almost going to be that extended match so many times, and then you get the comeback from Mont on the S&D, and then Team Mobility almost comes back right there at the end. I mean, it was a well-fought battle between both of these teams. In the end, Mont is the last team that solidifies their place in the next stage. That was enjoyable. I mean, we'll take a look back at the highlights, Bobby. How are you feeling after that last match?
I mean, I'm just surprised. That was a Team Mobility squad that I expected better things out of, but Mont definitely have put in the work on that, and I'm excited to see them play in the next stage. It's a group of players that I think the majority of them have never seen a COD Mobile Major before, so they have, as the newcomers, really shown out right here. And I think the fact that they were able to play closely in a search and destroy up against King shows that they have talent. Taking down a Team Mobility team that I think in MM finished top 4, top 5. Like, this is not an easy squad to take care of, and they handled it pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, they just looked so strong in this final matchup, Mommy. Are you happy with this performance?
Oh, definitely. I mean, they deserve it, most definitely, because Fahim stepped it up. He had such a hard time a while ago, and obviously that, I mean, actually, he had a hard time yesterday. He only had, like, what, 7 kills in that control, and now he's, like, on the driver's seat. And a while ago, we actually saw Jace just have 3 kills in that search and destroy, and he's one of the playmakers here in control. And we did say that he needed to step it up, and step it up he did.
All right, well, we'll take one final look at the completed bracket for this event, because now you'll have your top 8 teams that will be competing in the challenge. Of course, our upper bracket that we completed yesterday with 117, Kings, Exclusive, and 31er. And now after today, we have added Panic, Zidium, Mont, and Animus to the mix. Bobby, give me some final thoughts on now that we have this all settled, how you're feeling and what you're expecting or looking forward to out of the challenge.
I will say I was pleasantly surprised by this Mont squad. I figured that Team Mobility was going to be a shoo-in given their past history. So they are for sure the surprise team for me. And I didn't feel like we had any of those in NA. So I'm excited to see what they can do. Obviously, given what we saw, no question, Kings are still the top dog, but I think 117 Not Found are going to be some very solid competition for them, and I think depending on how much practice we see for each of these squads, 117 could potentially turn into that 1 seed as Stage 4 progresses.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. Mommy, what about you? Final thoughts and what you're looking forward to?
This region right now is looking super solid. It's been so entertaining to cast, and it's really nice to see a lot of these newcomers just really pop off out of nowhere. I mean, out of nowhere, but I mean, they just started out recently this year. And so, honestly, right now, it seems like 2021 is making a comeback here in the EU region, and everyone's just stepping up. It's nice seeing familiar names come back into the competitive scene. And obviously, Kings, like what Bobby said, will be that #1 that a lot of people are looking at, but people are slowly catching up, and it's nice to see that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very exciting summer. And of course, chat, one final reminder, if you want to keep up with all of the Snapdragon Pro Series action that we have coming your way in just like a couple short weeks, not even. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Just make sure you are staying up to date with everything because you're not going to miss a second of the action. And of course, you can also join our brand new Discord, discord.gg/Snapdragon Pro Series. Join the community, hang out with us, talk all things Call of Duty Mobile, and just spend the summer there, really, because it's going to be a great challenge season. But as for us, that's it for our Call of Duty Mobile Open Finals for EU, and the stage is now set for our challenge season with the 8 teams having claimed their spots. Obviously, congratulations to everybody after their performances the past 2 days. It was an incredibly exciting show, and it was enjoyable to be a part of every single moment of it. Of course, a huge thanks to our sponsors, Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Samsung Galaxy, and Monster Energy for helping us make this whole thing possible. On behalf of myself, my co-casters, and everyone behind the scenes, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the challenge.
Got the time, put me in, coach. I've been going hard, time to let it show. Everything raw, give it to me now. Let me have a spot, man, it's going down. Gotta get it here, I don't wanna wait. Take what I want, then I go train. Gotta get a win, I won't lose the game. This is my year, I ain't gonna break. Strap in, cause it's gonna be a long ride. Working on me every single day and night. There comes a time when your worlds will collide. If it's holding you back, push it right to the side. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. I don't got the time, put me in, coach. I've been going hard, time to let it show. Everything raw, give it to me now. Let me have a spot, man, it's going down. Gotta get it here, I don't wanna wait. Take what I want, then I go train. Gotta get a win, I won't lose the game. This is my year, I ain't gonna break. Strap in, cause it's gonna be a long ride. Working on me every single day and night. Welcome to the place where dreams come true. Where everything you want can be yours. If and only if you're willing to work for them. You're willing to hurt for them. But most of all, you're willing to be first for them. Ha! Look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop, like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting, it's hot. Look what I got, whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success is insane. Stay out my lane, cause I'm on a mission. I'm getting what stands in my way. Yeah, I'm a beast, I wouldn't play with me, baby. The way that I'm training is crazy and I do it daily. You wanna talk about drive? I got more drive than Mercedes. I've never been lazy. I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed. So now let me flex. Ha, yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt. Cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Ha, yeah, I gotta be first. Look, I don't want anyone's sympathy. I understand what it's meant for me. I give my focus and energy. If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But mentally, I'm undefeated. They hear that and say I'm conceited. Like there's no reason. Like I don't beat them and come back again just to teach them that when you work under pressure, you reach higher measures. They'll try and bring you down, but you cannot let them, and only get better and focus on cheddar. Eye on the prize and you'll become a legend. Like when I'm in the room, it's a